Welcome into the MPW Digital Postgame Show presented by Walk-On Sports Bistreaux. I'm Neal McCready. That's Chase Parham. We're both dealing with different ailments, so bear with us. Ole Miss wins 29-19. I just put a column up. I think Chase is about to put observations are up. I should have asked first. We'll have a notebook from Walker Bailey. We'll have video and all of that stuff to you as the evening and early morning progresses. But a big day in Oxford. Ole Miss wins 29-19 with defense, as I just said, saving the party. Chase.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where just as we thought, Ole Miss's defense carries the team, puts them in position for all sorts of things. Still this season. I mean, in all seriousness, that thing in the first half, that's as dominant as an Ole Miss defense I've seen in a really long time, considering the opponent, considering who they were facing, and at 15-0, you thought, hey, there's probably going to be some chaos because they could have been up 25-0, 30-0. I mean, it could have really extended it there, but all night long, the defense just keeps playing well. They get the back-to-back interceptions, including the one that goes to the house there that really ices that thing. I mean, it was just a hell of an effort, and something that I was not necessarily anticipating.
Well, I wrote earlier this week that I really felt like Ashanti Sistrunk and A.J. Finley would be the heroes.
Yeah, Ashanti Sistrunk was right on the tip of the tongue there.
I had a feeling that's where it was going to go.
Thanks to Tommy from Oxford for the cap. We're gonna rock Peterbilt today. And a couple things that I found, I was kind of just curious, and I didn't expect this to be the case. Ole Miss sets up some really big opportunities in 2 weeks. They play Vanderbilt next week, barring some catastrophe, which I feel like I have to say, even though Vanderbilt couldn't beat a good high school team right now.
No.
No. They're awful.
No.
Ole Miss heads to Starkville for the second time in 6 years with the ability to earn an Access Bowl berth. Ole Miss has, now with Auburn losing today especially, Ole Miss in really good position to finish third in the SEC from a playoff ranking standpoint if they can win out. So they head to Starkville with that on their racket. And then as I was kind of scanning, I did not realize this. Ole Miss moves to 8-2. They'll be 9-2 after next week. They have a chance to win 10 games in the regular season for the first time in school history. They've never done that. They've won 10 games several times, but that all needed the bowl game to do that. So they had to start with that. Also possible this season as they move forward. Ole Miss cashes in Vegas. It was 7.5, so now they are 8-2. They get the cash if you had the over for the Rebels on the year. Yeah. It was 7.5. So that's what it was. So just those things kind of stuck out from a big picture standpoint as we kind of go big and small with our.
Do you have any idea what channel the Texas-Kansas game is on?
I can ask people here. What channel is Texas on? We would like to cheer for the Jayhawks is what we would like to do. What channel is that on?
I didn't mean to interrupt your school of thought.
Oh, no, you're
Texas
good.
basketball is on ESPN2, but I'm looking for Texas.
Yeah, with Texas football. ESPNU.
ESPNU.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we need. We watched Arkansas and LSU on TV2 to close out the game. The Hogs beat the Tigers 16-13, maybe, something like that.
Arkansas wins 16-13 in overtime. Yep.
You look around the league today, Georgia continued to be the Python that they are. They give up some points early and then just strangle out the Volunteers today to win that one. Missouri beat South Carolina, so we kind of missed on that one. The Gamecocks did not find that sixth win in Como today. And then the crazy game of the day outside of Oxford, Auburn up 28-3 at one point over the Bulldogs. State comes back, rolls, scores a ton of points unanswered there, and wins that one against the Tigers, which actually helped Ole Miss because it knocks Auburn out of that race for the third spot in the SEC as they move forward. So I know people were probably rooting for Auburn to beat State as far as in our stream, but that actually helped the Rebels today for Mississippi State to win that.
What's in the title? Someone says, "What's in the title?" I don't.
What's wrong?
LOL video title. I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Beats me.
Okay. Yeah, how do we even get to it?
I don't know. I was trying just to...
Oh, you have them beating Arkansas, not A&M. I got it. I fixed it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no idea.
Yeah. We're Neal has a back issue. I'm getting over the flu. We're here with you, okay?
Yeah, I'm in.
It's just here right now.
I'm in some serious pain, if I'm totally honest.
Are you really?
Yeah. I would pop 2 muscle relaxers right now so fast it would make your head spin if I thought.
I mean, look, unless you think Bama is winning them both, it doesn't matter who you root for anymore. It means win 2 games and go to the Peach Bowl or the Cotton Bowl or whatever the hell the Access Bowls are that are not the playoff.
I've had people tell me, and I almost wrote this, but I asked you, and you were like, I don't know, and I think you might be right because I've heard other people say that that's not true. I've had people say it's either the Sugar or the Peach.
Okay, I think the Sugar is guaranteed the top SEC team that is not in the playoff. So if Alabama didn't make the playoff, I think they're guaranteed the Sugar Bowl. So I think Ole Miss would need one of those at-large Access Bowls beyond that. Is my thought. It would be kind of like 2014. In 14, Alabama went to the playoff. Ole Miss played in the Peach Bowl, and State played in the Orange Bowl. So they had those 3 in at that point.
Big Ben, what it was I was still I was typing as my wife was in the other room screaming at the TV as the Arkansas LSU game, as overtime was playing out. So I guess Arkansas was on my brain, but
that was actually really funny.
It was only because of an imminence at that moment.
Okay.
Chase was here; he can vouch.
Yeah, we were.
Laura was. There
was a bit of pandemonium.
Laura was definitely cheering on the Hogs. So I guess I heard that. So.
It's okay. We'll throw it in there.
Yeah. Kudos to them, by the way. I mean, who would have ever thought they'd be 7-3 after 10 games?
Is that what they are, really?
They're 7-3. They're a ball in the air from 8-2.
They are.
I mean, credit where credit's due.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that one today too. Yes. Florida won 70-52 over the
and
mighty
celebrated
Samford.
in the locker room.
Not just celebrated, but Mullen then going out of his way to defend it over and over and over again. That. How did he put it? You're disgracing the game, I believe, is what he said. If you don't celebrate the wins or call them disappointments or something like that.
I mean, you can say
Samford hung 50 on you.
Yeah, Samford, who was a 4-5 team entering the game.
I mean, come on,
yeah,
guys,
come on. Yeah,
exactly. It's just one of those deals. Ole Miss Notre Dame in the Peach would be really cool. That would be neat.
Oh, yeah.
That would be neat.
Yeah, I mean, what I thought was significant for Ole Miss today, and I wrote in my column, was that on a day when everybody was talking about their offense, it was the defense that stepped up. Really, it was the story of the entire offseason. We kept talking about, hey, can the defense be better? And the answer was early this season, by the middle of the year, they started making real improvements, and quite frankly, here the last few weeks, it's been defense that's carried the team, and defense was absolutely the key today. I mean, they were fantastic throughout. They pitched a first half shutout, and then in the third quarter, when Ole Miss could do nothing, they held A&M to 10 points, and then limited them to a field goal in the fourth quarter when things were pretty tight.
That's one that people are not going to talk to as much, but that was such a critical one right there because they could have taken the lead and really pushed that thing, and it's a whole different situation. Instead, you still have the lead even though it's cut to 2, and then you get the big-time interceptions back-to-back after that to kill drives. I mean, it was just and look, they played against an incredibly physical football team that has a good offensive line and a great backfield. They played 28 minutes without Jake Springer. I mean, was able to stave off that not being the end of the world there when Springer goes for the ejection on targeting. I mean, that was critical. He will miss the first half against Vanderbilt. Okay, fine. Next week. Who do you play next week? You play a bunch of dudes or what?
You play them until you can get them off the field.
Yeah.
And then you get them off the field.
It's critical to get up.
Yeah, sure.
Like what Kentucky did today. I think they were up 31-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'll go ahead and call Jeffrey, speaking of.
What was that final?
I don't know. It's a great question.
I'll look it up while you're doing that.
Good evening.
Jeffrey, how are you?
I am well, gentlemen. How are we?
I'm good. Is his audio okay? You hear him okay?
He's a little low, but otherwise
right,
I hear him completely fine.
How about any better?
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Perfect.
Perfect right there.
Apologies.
No, you're all good.
You're all good.
I couldn't tell.
Well, that was quite the football game.
So you thought Ashanti Sistrunk would be the hero, right, today?
Obviously, as Neal said, I mean, we all called it during the week.
Well, we've all talked about it all week long.
Bow to the master. I did pretty much lay out the game plan.
You're proud of your prediction there?
I'm right.
Okay.
You want to go through the notebook here?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Take us wherever you'd like to take us, Jeffrey.
Turnovers in the red zone, and then even though the fumble at the end of the first half wasn't technically a turnover, I mean, it was one of those weird situations where at the end of the first half, it's 15-0. Ole Miss has completely dominated the game, and if you're doing what I've done, which is losing horrific beats all day, the first thing that came through my mind was they did not score enough points considering how well they played against, let's be real, y'all, a very good defense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it should have been, 27 or more to nothing at the half, and the party could have gotten started in the Grove, but it didn't happen that way. And you got to give A&M some credit for that. And some of it is Ole Miss. Chase and I talked about this when he got here. They just can't stretch the field vertically very much right now because they're just not healthy enough.
Well, I think it's twofold. They're not healthy, but also the note number 2 that I had written was Matt missed some throws tonight, and he had Braylon a couple of times to stretch them vertically, and it's one of those situations where when you don't hit it, they can kind of gamble a little bit more, and you saw them bring their safeties down a little bit more during the second half, and I think it made it a lot harder on Ole Miss.
He missed Shakur Pearson on a wide open play that would have been
the first half,
and they scored anyway on that drive.
Scored on that drive, but still, the fact is, while they scored, because they didn't, I felt like because Ole Miss didn't hit the bombs, it allowed A&M to be more aggressive, and I think that's why it was very tough for them in the second half. That safety was huge at the end of the first half. I thought it was the right call to go for it because at that point A&M's offense had not done very much, and if you could have gotten a 3-score lead, I thought that was huge. I thought in the first half the offensive line played really well, and then the note that I have starred, asterisk, however you want to describe it, targeting on Jake Springer at 13:46 in the third quarter. With Jake Springer on the field, Ole Miss's defense averaged 3.7 yards per play allowed and 0 points. With Jake Springer off of the field, Texas A&M put up 280 yards and 19 points. And I know we've mentioned it at times during the year. Jake Springer is their version of Tony Connor. With the 2015 defense, when Tony Connor hurt his knee against Alabama, like that defense went all of a sudden from being very, very good to you could kind of do whatever you wanted, and we saw that in the second half. I also credit A&M. I think they made some offensive line adjustments. I think they were trying to be cute in the first half, and I think they kept it real simple, and they just said, we've got really big guys, we've got really good athletic guys, and let's stop trying to do anything special. And I think they ran right at Ole Miss, and then I didn't think Ole Miss tackled as well in the second half. I also thought a big series in the course of the game was Ole Miss goes, I had it written down, Ole Miss goes 3 and out, and then Matt Brown hits an absolute bomb, and then Ole Miss's defense is Matt Brown, hits a bomb, and then Ole Miss's defense forced a 3 and out. And I also wrote down for everyone out there, Ole Miss got away with substituting and getting to run a play. The officials were clearly working for Ole Miss in that game. The thing that I had written down, until Calzada's 2 interceptions, it felt like Ole Miss was making the critical mistakes. Texas A&M, while they were playing much more conservatively, they also did not have as many plays. It's important to note that. They were not making critical mistakes, and it felt like Ole Miss was. And then, credit where credit's due, you had to make 2 plays, and they did. And I think that was kind of the story of the night. When the offense got you the lead, and they got you...
to interrupt you real quick, if Kansas just scored, it's 56-55, Texas.
We've got it on down. We've got it underneath. I was yelling at you. It's on 208. It's on 208.
Did you go for 2?
Did you go for 2?
Heck yeah. You're going for 2 anyway. You're going for 2 during the next overtime period anyway. Why not go for 2 now and try to win? You've got 1 2-point conversion to win.
What are they doing?
Looks like they're going for it.
Like they're going to go for
Here
it.
we go. Please, God. Please.
Make or miss.
Please.
I'm going to say
the world is not good enough to
Feels
get
like
this.
an auto miss, right?
Yeah, it feels like an automatic miss.
Please.
Wake Forest just took a 45-35 lead over NC State.
Out and play.
I want so badly to go to Orange Bloods for like the next 8 hours. Please. There's nothing better than pissed off message.
What will Bo Davis yell if they lose this one?
We can't say it here on the show. It's just too much.
I'd rather not put an explicit.
Yeah, we'd have to put a big E.
It would have to be like after hours. We'd have to like really put the thing over there.
That was a great program.
It was. It was before its time.
It was trailblazing. It was truly ahead of its time. No one knew how to recap the internet and talk about South Park like we did. And now it's great to see that Neal and Carson are getting into South Park. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because never forget, on 10 Thoughts, I think about a year and a half ago, Neal wrote about how South Park's not for him.
And it didn't used to be, but here lately, I love it. The show is fantastic.
Unbelievable.
I know.
While we're waiting on this, I know Vanderbilt's up next, but what's your early little keys to state? Because, I mean, Ole Miss looks like they're probably in an Access Bowl if they win.
I can tell you real quick. You have to pressure the quarterback.
But it's hard as hell to get to him. I mean, he takes 2 steps and throws the ball every time.
And you have to get him to throw it 2 steps because where he's dangerous is standing back in there and going through 8 progressions because he will do it.
It's a pick your poison. As you can tell, I have Wake Forest. I have Wake Forest minus a point, and my wife is well aware of it.
She's cheering your bets?
The night hinges on Wake Forest -1.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They're up 10.
I had 4 games where I got beat in horrific fashion.
Here we go. Hold on.
All right.
They're not going to
Summon
get
all
it. He's not going to get it.
Good thoughts. Okay.
Man in motion. Here's the snap.
Shit.
Broken play. He's going to hurl it. Oh, my
He got
God! Rock chalk.
Yes! Thank you, Jesus. I always believed in God.
Oh, my God.
Rock chalk. God, they're going to suck in the SEC.
They really are.
They are. They're going to suck so bad in the SEC. They're going to lose so many games to the Mississippi States and Arkansas and Ole Misses of the world that they think they're so superior to.
And you're going to enjoy every weekend.
Oh, I'm going to love it.
In fairness, though, what was your column after? I know on radio you mentioned that. I know that you mentioned in 2007 that Louisiana Monroe was not a win for Alabama. Did you write your column that the Saban thing isn't a guarantee? Was that your column?
No. All I ever did was all I said. I just said it on the radio. I said that the ULM game was losable. That was it.
Right, but my point is, this is like a weird thing for Sarkisian because you got some kids on his bus that are filming Bo Davis rightfully ripping into his team for playing grab ass after they just got their asses handed.
Yeah, all I ever said about that Alabama team was that this was not going to be his best team, that this was not his guys. But that team did not
– Texas in the recruiting rankings
that team did not crater like this team has cratered. There was nothing resembling. That team was okay. They just weren't very good.
Well, started 6-1 and then lost 5 straight to end the year.
Yeah, but they didn't crater like this. I'm just telling you they didn't.
Well, they went on probation, too. Remember, that was when Saban got to have the Red Elephant Club, and I believe he put a head on a spike.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that. It's been a long. It's been a minute.
Yeah, one of the car dealers. Remember he held a meeting of the capos, if you will, and he put a head on a spike and said, "This none of you will ever talk ever again."
Yeah,
seems extreme.
I'm sure he never did that.
So the key to beating State in 12 days.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. Get pressure on him. But the problem is the reason why, in my opinion, Mississippi State has improved so much this year is that their offensive line is so much better this year than they were last year. When you put pressure on him, most people now have to do it by blitzing. And so if you're blitzing against them, you leave a lot of guys one-on-one. And, I actually think Ole Miss is fairly equipped to defend them because, in general, Ole Miss plays with, 6 DBs on the field at a given time? I mean, I know they manipulate it to look a certain way, but Ole Miss's defense, I think, is is constructed decently well against Mississippi State. I think the best way to beat Mississippi State is to force them into looks where they have no choice but to run the football, and they're just not comfortable doing it. I think you want to take the game out of Rodgers' hands. And to me, the way to take the game out of Rodgers' hands is cover well deep and give them looks where they have no choice but to run it. The problem is now, even when you're giving them looks where they're supposed to run it, they're throwing it, and good God, the young man is just playing fantastic football.
He is. No, he's playing great. He was terrific today. I mean,
5 TDs in the second half today.
Yeah, 6 TDs.
Maybe, something like that.
It was 40. He was 44 of 55, I think, for 415, 6 touchdowns, and no interception.
Yeah, I mean, he was great. I mean, he was great. And Bo Nix disappeared in the second half, and that's kind of
there is an element of this is somewhat hot take, but we've also played sports, and this is a thing. Auburn got too big of a lead. It was 28-3, and they kind of sat back. And then because of the way that because of the way Mississippi State's offense is constructed, when they start to get hot, then there's really nothing you can do. Like, I feel like they took their foot off the gas too much, but there is sometimes like you don't want to go to halftime because you're playing well. And then there's sometimes like with Mississippi State, like I feel like Auburn didn't want to go to halftime, and then Mississippi State did want to go to halftime. And then you just saw, I mean, how many times has someone given up 28 points and then gotten outscored 40-0? I'm going to go out on a limb and say
it's not often.
Well, my dad always tells about, I think Ole Miss one year was up on Alabama and Jackson. My dad said they were up like 17-0 or something like that, and then they got beat like 63-17. So I guess that kind of qualifies, but not really.
I will say this for someone said Sam Williams will eat Lashley's lunch, the tackle. Sam Williams has made so much money this year.
A lot of money.
He went from being remarkably inconsistent to remarkably consistent in one season. I mean, he's a.
We saw it in fall camp. He was even like coaching younger dudes and like, whoa, and you thought, okay, is that going to stick? And by God, it has all year. I mean,
his motor.
He was hampered by his hip in the second half a little tonight. I did not think he was very healthy.
He was. I agree on everything. I think he's played himself into potentially being a top 100 pick, which is a credit to the young man for, as you said, the story's documented, and the fact that he has put himself in this position is all a credit to him. Here's what I keep wondering. Is there a position in the NFL for Springer? Because I can't decide. Is he just like the ultimate example of a college football player where he's just a damn good player, but maybe there's not a spot for him because you can't really play that spot in the NFL if you can cover? But at the same time, like I just keep seeing him, I was like, damn, he makes a lot of plays. It feels, would y'all agree? It feels very Mike Hilton-esque.
Yeah, no, I think he can play. I actually think he could play linebacker or strong safety. I think he could play will, and I think he could play strong safety at the NFL level. I do.
North Carolina got the onside kick, by the way.
Are you a little worried?
Things are not looking well. But, yeah, I mean, to me, what the story of the night was, all right, let's talk about the fake field goal.
All right. Take the points, get up 8.
Yeah, he's it's not even the fake field goal. It's the one knock I have on Kiffin, and I've seen a lot of other people say it today, is in a game like that, you've got to – I think you have to throw the book away for a moment and go, let's just get points. Let's just get points. Let's get up 8. Let's put pressure back on them. It was kind of the –
you kind of get 2 chances to win it when you're up 8. It's stop them or stop them.
Yeah, because if they score and go for 2 and get it, you're still tied. You're not trailing. It's just you have an opportunity to score. I thought there were moments in that game when.
All right, I've got a take.
Okay, sure.
Brown didn't let his lead blocker get there.
Well,
you see it?
And that's certainly possible, right?
Arkansas. Well, first off, the reason why he didn't know how to run the football is because he's a punter. Arkansas actually ran a similar fake punt in which they bring the wing back around
tonight,
power, and he beat the wing back there. Because he beat the wing there as his lead blocker, that brought in another defender. I actually think that I'm of two minds. My rule number 1 is if it's 4th and 3 and you want to go for it, just freaking go for it. I hate the fake the fake field goal. As a holder, like, you're not, like, no one wants to see you run the football. So, like, there's that element. But then there is this element of, I do think that they had schemed that play up and it didn't work. But my bigger issue is tonight felt like one of those nights where they were I don't think they I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm willing to bet they didn't follow the book a lot. It felt like there were times they went ultra conservative, and then there were times that they went like, let's just get drunk and go aggressive. But I don't like, I know everyone's going to make it about analytics. I'm willing to bet if you charted out Lane's decisions on analytics, I'm willing to bet tonight he went more on gut than he did on anything else.
Yeah, could be.
I think I'd buy that because I don't think the analytics fit several times. I mean, even that first field goal, you went, okay.
First field goal, there were several punts, and again, I think we're talking about it like it was a loss, but my bigger point is, and this is what I said to Neal on Wednesday, hats off to this defense. You know, they were a punching line, or a punch line last year. They were the ultimate get-right game for your offense if your offense was struggling last year. And this year, I mean, guys, they won the Tennessee game in my mind. They won this game in my mind. I mean, you can make an argument last week they kind of won that game because that game is getting a little squirrely.
Well, certainly they prevented disaster last week for sure.
And, you know, the bigger deal to me is their offense is clearly hampered at this point, but I mean, good God, this is best case scenario, right? I mean, when
8-2.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, 8-2 in year 2 with Vanderbilt up next. They're going to be 9-2 going to Starkville. Absolutely. I mean, I think anybody who expected anything more than 9-2 headed to the Egg Bowl is, I don't know what world you're living in, but.
So yeah. I want y'all's opinion on this question. Calkins on Friday did a classic Calkins where his entire premise is, let's put Jeffrey on the spot. Okay, sweet. Now let's say Ole Miss goes 9-3. They win this week, obviously. That's done. They win next week, and then they lose in Starkville. I made the argument that is still a success because in the end, you're now most likely going to be at worst 9-3, and then you're going to be pinned head-to-head with Texas A&M. And I think the last New Year's Six spot from the SEC is going to be a tie between you two, and you're going to have the head-to-head advantage. Am I wrong?
I guess I need to look at the I mean, is it possible, though, here's the thing, though. There's a possibility you just don't get the third one. There's no guarantee you get a third team in the New Year's Six. So if you lose, I think you just fall too low. I think you fall too low. A&M's going to be too low where just nobody.
Every year Ole Miss has gotten into the New Year's Six, they've been 9-3.
But they've been the number 3 team in the league. And I understand you're saying they still are, but they finished in the top 12. When you fall to like 15, 16, I just don't know that you get that spot.
There's a very good chance Ole Miss is in the top 10 on Tuesday night.
Oh, I think they will be in the top 10 on Tuesday night.
I mean, they're going to be, in my opinion, they're going to be the highest ranked 2-loss team. So the question is, where is that? There's a good chance they're 8. Even with a loss at Mississippi State, they're probably not falling outside of that top 12.
That's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. I thought they probably had to win.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I hadn't given it a thought.
Well, here's the other thing. You know, we can nitpick Alabama all we want. At the same time, the committee has clearly stated there's a difference between Alabama and everyone else. I'm still convinced, even if they get beat in the SEC championship, as long as they don't get blown out, they are still getting in the playoff.
Ole Miss finished 12th on the dot in 2015.
Correct. That's what the Sugar Bowl bid.
Yeah, that is correct. And they finished 9th in 2014.
Who's ready for a Oklahoma Baylor Sugar Bowl? Or I'm sorry, an Ole Miss Baylor Sugar Bowl?
Ooh.
Or Notre Dame.
Well, the Sugar Bowl is the Big 12. The same thing that you just laid out at the top of the show. The agreement. The Big 12 has that as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying if Alabama doesn't get in the playoff, then Alabama's in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, well, but that would be the Ole Miss Notre Dame would be the Peach Bowl, correct?
Correct. Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Hey, last stat before we go, and we'll get to Brian in a second. Jeffrey, and as always, thanks for the time. Isaiah Spiller, 15 carries, 41 yards.
I mean, the defense is borderline good, y'all.
Well, yeah. I think when people do the whole national thing and they're like, they're one whatever, it's like, yeah, but some of that is September and some of that is, you never fully recover from giving up 676 yards one day. That's going to F your average for a long time.
What did Arkansas give up that day?
640 or something like that. And so that's what I mean. And so their defense is better than the numbers say. It's the whole deal. That's making a really bad test score that messes up your semester grade, but it doesn't.
A game script becomes a game script. Like, in the end, both teams executed their game plan. In the second half, neither one of them had answers because of what they had done the entire game on offense. My bigger deal is, at this point in time, is it almost better that Ole Miss, when they needed to have the play to be made and the play to end the game, I'm dead serious. I'm not being hot take or anything. I think it was better that the defense was on the field. I trusted them to make a play more than I trust the offense right now.
Yeah, especially when Ole Miss couldn't go down the field. Because, your swing passes were just death by swing pass. It wasn't going to work at that point. A&M was moving very well laterally.
To Matt, they did not have time to let passing routes develop. And so his best game of going down the field was almost – because at first I was like, are they not trusting him? And then I realized, no, they know if they drop back and they have any time to throw at all, they're going to get pressured and bad things are going to happen. But I think that everyone involved with that defense deserves quite the glass race tonight, because I thought they were nothing short of outstanding.
Also, Ole Miss, as long as they beat Vanderbilt next week, the first home undefeated season since 1992.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeffrey, as always, thanks for the time, man.
All right, boys, have a good show.
You too.
Wow, first home undefeated season.
Yeah, Brian needs
about
5-8 minutes.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Thanks to John Nothdorf. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, I think we missed several of these.
Thanks to President Biden.
BM Biden.
Oh, BM Biden. I'm sorry. Yes. I just saw President Biden. Thanks to Tyson, Tony, and TC. I think there are a couple more up here at the top that I missed. Larry Joe, thanks to you. And Nathan Best, thanks to you. Appreciate you guys a lot.
Let's see. SEC. Yeah, I'm going to actually pull that up. Let's see. Conference standings. That's correct. The winner of Ole Miss and Mississippi State will finish second in the SEC West.
Oh, wow.
Now, State can get it. Well, no, but they have both tiebreakers. Yeah, never mind. Mm-hmm.
State. What's State's record?
State is 4-3, 6-4.
So if they won, 5-3.
Ole Miss would be 5-3. A&M would be at best 5-3 at this point. Auburn can only get to 5-3. Arkansas actually can still get to 5-3. They're 3-3 in the league right now.
Yeah, but that would mean winning in Tuscaloosa.
I know.
Right.
So yeah, the winner of State and Ole Miss goes finishes second in the West.
Wow.
All Ole Miss needs is to win out, and Arkansas and Auburn beat Alabama, and they're in Atlanta. That's it. Mathematically, it's right there.
Right there in front of you.
Just saying.
If I were Arkansas, I'd be like, hey, we're not even going to go to Tuscaloosa. Y'all just take it. We're going to get ready for Mizzou. We'll get to 8-4. 8-4 is going to be a pretty decent bowl game, and we'll just roll.
We're all good with 8-4.
We'll roll.
We
with
like
that.
8-4.
We'll roll with that. Yeah, no question.
Brian's good.
Okay. I don't even know who this is on this.
Do what?
Oh, this is ACC highlights. Never mind.
No, thanks.
What's up?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're lovely.
Where are you talking to us from tonight?
So I am halfway between the stadium and the car I was supposed to drive back in. So we're at someplace off South 8th. I don't know. I'm in a parking lot, basically.
What is our sobriety level at this point?
I put it at like a 4 out of 10. We tried to pace ourselves today.
Okay.
I'm proud of myself, which is a low bar.
So,
what was the stadium like?
Yeah, that's where I was going. What was the atmosphere tonight?
So I thought the atmosphere was pretty good. I didn't think the stadium wasn't necessarily full, but honestly, it was more. I thought it was more because of the A&M section. The A&M section didn't really fill up, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty good. And that was one of the things I wrote down for a note tonight. I thought Ole Miss has done a good job of making this a show. Between getting the players back on the microphone, in between whatever each media timeout, which there's a gajillion in college football, and everything else, they did like a little blackout deal before the stadium thing where they turned out all the lights. It's one of those deals during the Matt Luke era you didn't really see that, and I thought Ole Miss has done a much better job of making the game day a production, if that makes any sense at all. I thought they did a nice job with it, and the atmosphere was pretty good.
People told me it was pretty cohesive too. It seemed like everything kind of ran together, and you never felt like there was awkward breaks. That even during the timeouts, it was a lot better than how it used to be when it was, hey, let me go celebrate this 87-year-old donor real quick that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great way to put it. It seemed like it had a cohesive flow. It seemed like every time there was some sort of stoppage in play, they had something else planned. Whereas, to your point, a couple of years ago, it's like, let's honor this old guy who probably doesn't know where he is right now, but you know what? He donated some money, so let's clap for him for a bit.
Are we talking about Biden?
The energy was never taken out of the stadium at a stoppage of play, which that has happened a lot in the past few years.
Will Allen got engaged on the field tonight. Saw that.
He did.
Yeah.
Congrats to him.
Yeah, he did.
Mike's catcher.
Yeah, you were fun about the baseball team earlier. They got recognized on the field tonight too.
They did. It's not even February yet. This is only November.
Yeah. They won fall ball. All right.
Whatever.
So,
no shade thrown.
So, I mean, we talked to Jeffrey about it. Obviously, defense won the day, but just from inside the stadium, did it feel like A&M got momentum at any point? Did it feel like the defense kind of was able to stem the tide? What was sort of game flow like to you as far as how the defense sort of kept everything on Ole Miss's favor for most of the evening?
I thought the only flow that A&M had for the most part was, so Ole Miss was up 15-0 at halftime, and it kind of felt like, okay, these guys should be up, I thought 24-0 at minimum, right? So it felt like a lot of missed opportunities. And then A&M kicks the field goal, and Ole Miss, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much does nothing. They go 3 and out, and A&M scores a touchdown. At 15-10, you're sitting there thinking, oh boy, like this could get a little weird. And then they kick another field goal, and it's 15-13. So that, I would say, for about 7 minutes in that third quarter, it felt like A&M got a little bit of momentum. But honestly, they never did enough offensively all night to warrant any sort of threat past the 50-yard line. That was the thing I was most shocked about. I don't know, you guys got a much better view of it on television, but I was shocked about A&M's inability to kind of commit to running the football. Ole Miss's defensive performance was kind of astonishing because the way I looked at this game and the way I thought it would go, nothing about it made sense. It was kind of the opposite of everything. Ole Miss won this game for them. The offense couldn't do anything, and A&M couldn't run the football. It was kind of bizarre.
Yeah, I thought that Texas A&M would not dominate, but I thought they would control the lines of scrimmage. And, in fact, it was the complete opposite of that. Ole Miss, I don't know if you can say Ole Miss dominated the lines of scrimmage, but it was the next closest thing to domination. I mean, it was definitely controlled it and borderline dominated it. There was a period in the third quarter where obviously Texas A&M maybe flipped the switch a little bit and kind of controlled the third quarter at the line of scrimmage. But for the most part, Ole Miss controlled that element of the game, which 9 times out of 10 is going to result in a win.
No, you're exactly right, Neal. And that's what I was going to ask you guys was you had a better look at it than I did. And, using the word dominate is obviously kind of, I mean, that's a pretty strong term in terms of talking about the line of scrimmage of football. But it really did look like for the first 2.5 quarters. Now, when Ole Miss was on offense, it was a different story. But Ole Miss's defensive line really did seem like they dominated the line of scrimmage for 2 quarters, which I thought was probably the most shocking element of this game. A&M couldn't do a whole lot running the ball. And I was curious how that was going to go because if you remember in the Arkansas game, A&M got down like 13-3 or something like that early in the game. and they were having success running the football, and they pretty much abandoned it, which I thought was bizarre. I thought the two weirdest things in A&M season this year was abandoning the run when they got down early against Arkansas, and then whatever the hell they decided to do against Mississippi State from a defensive standpoint. And tonight it didn't seem to matter. It seemed like they tried to run the ball a little bit in the third quarter, and they found some success with it. It seemed like most of that actually came after Jake Springer exited the game for the targeting penalty, which I didn't see that play. I'd gotten up to go get something and then came back, but
it was the right
I couldn't
call.
see it.
It was the right call.
But
it was
like
a fairly easy
he
call.
went after a guy on the head on the pile up, but that was, to me, what kind of determined the game. Ole Miss just kind of being able to dominate the line of scrimmage and not being able to run the football. I didn't see there was, like, coming into this game, I figured Ole Miss would fare well in between the 20s if they won the game, but I figured A&M would rack up 180 yards rushing minimum, and that didn't happen tonight.
What do you think of Corral?
He was fine. It seemed like having the second receiver back in Drummond, the whole Mingo thing never made sense to me. I didn't figure he would play tonight, but it seemed like having Drummond back opened up the middle of the field more, particularly early in the game. But he seemed fine. It wasn't an offensive masterpiece by any means. What y'all think?
I thought the ball control or lack of in the first half was a problem. I mean, a couple times where he just lost the football. I mean, he didn't do anything to necessarily lose the game tonight, and I thought he hit some big throws across the middle. I thought they did soften A&M up with Drummond in the RPO game in the first half. I thought that was pretty critical. But beyond that, I mean, just their inability to get downfield for a myriad reasons was a major problem, and it's what makes that game in 2 weeks really complicated and interesting for Ole Miss.
No, it's a great point. So here's the question I had for y'all. Why was Asante Sistrunk playing so many downs? What happened with that? I couldn't figure that out.
I just think he's kind of become their third linebacker. That, you know, when Campbell or Robinson need a break, and I mean, you just don't want your linebackers playing 80 snaps. I mean, Chase does the snap count thing every week, and it seems like those linebacker stats are just
like two dudes
every
over
week.
and over
You're
and
like,
over
oh
again.
my god,
Pretty much.
And so I don't know. My guess, and it's probably I will venture to guess that we will get Ashanti Sistrunk Monday or Tuesday for the media op. I certainly hope we do, because we're kind of started to get to that point in the season where we get the same guys. But my guess is he has begun to practice his way into more and more snaps, and you see that tonight. I mean, those were not only the interception, which was a big time play, but the play right before that where he disrupts the passing lane was another big-time play at a key point in the game, when I just don't think you can keep you just can't keep Mark Robinson and Chance Campbell out there 80-something snaps and expect them to be as effective. I mean, they've both been awesome, but they are human. I mean, you got to get those guys a little bit of a breather here and there, and I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm criticizing like Momo or somebody, but I think they've gotten to the point where they realize Sonogo can't really contribute effectively in this defense very much.
No, he's a classic example of, I mean, Weldon always says it, a productive player is not always a good player, and he was a productive player on a very thin defense. But, I mean, you're right. There's a reason he hasn't played in meaningful snaps in quite a while.
And someone makes a good point here, Brian. It's Lakia Henry's not playing because I think Sistrunk has taken his snaps as well.
You there?
Did we lose him?
It's kind of an interesting development, right? I mean, that's probably another case of a productive player not being a great one.
Who's that? Who are you talking about, Brian?
We're having cell issues with him. Yeah. Hey, Brian, we'll
I was talking about Lakeem Henry.
There you go.
You said Asante Sistrunk took his snaps a little bit.
Kind of last thing, Brian, if we can keep you from it. Your boy Mac Brown, could you not get that extra yard right there?
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Are they going to blame that on analytics? I didn't like what watching on television. What was like the announcer's reaction to that? I thought that was the most bizarre thing of all time. You could go up 8 points and then all of a sudden, whatever that was. What was y'all like? What did you think of that? I thought that was one of the dumber decisions of the season. I thought that made Hugh Freeze look conservative.
Yeah, I didn't. They were critical of it. We were all critical of it. And if you're going to run it, it was interesting because in the Arkansas LSU game, literally, it couldn't have been 5 minutes later, Arkansas ran a fake field goal that worked, where they got the holder outside a little bit, and he was able to pick up big time yards, and ultimately they kicked the field goal anyway. But theirs worked and Ole Miss's didn't, and one just didn't appear to be drawn up as well as the other. But I didn't like the decision. I would have kicked it and gone up 8 points.
What do you guys think this win means big picture? I mean, they were an Egg Bowl win away from going 10-2 for the first time since post-integration, basically.
Yeah, Chase was looking it up. I think it's their first time. If they win, it's their first 10-win regular season
in school history.
It's
they've never won 11 in a year.
Look, here's what I think it means, big picture. I think they have proven, in case anybody needed proof, they have proven that you can win big at Ole Miss. They've proven that you can handle the national stage at Ole Miss. Game day, so I can't sit here and pretend to be an expert on game day, but I'm going to guess that's as good of a game day turnout as you're going to get anywhere. Maybe there are better game day crowds. I don't know. I don't watch the show. I don't think it's all that entertaining, if I'm totally honest. And I know other people do, and that's cool. It's all good. But, they can handle it. I mean, you look at Lane Kiffin's tweets tonight. I think people keep waiting for Lane Kiffin to sort of declare his commitment to Ole Miss, his undying love. And he says, we came here to play in front of crowds like tonight. We came here to play in prime time and be on College game day. We came here to play great teams, and most importantly, we came here to win. Great game, great atmosphere. Let's keep it going. # party in the SIP.
That's about what you're going to get out of Lane.
That's about as strong as you're going to get.
We spent a lot of time on storylines that don't matter, but what did y'all think of Lane Kiffin anointing Lane Kiffin as the guest picker? I'm sure Glenn Boyce approved of that.
Yeah, that
I thought that was bizarre. So I was watching with my girlfriend's mom, and she was like, I think Lane Kiffin's the guest picker. And I was like, no, I don't think he's allowed to do that by NCAA rules. And all of a sudden he shows up as a guest picker. And I was like, what in the world?
They asked other people and couldn't make it work. That became a much bigger topic today than I really care on getting into for a couple different reasons. But yeah, the game picker does not matter. I mean, I'm sorry, it just really doesn't. And that became a very emotional issue this morning in a number of ways.
My suggestion early in the week was let Knox Kiffin do it, and I'm now convinced that letting Knox Kiffin do it would have been awesome.
Knox would have been great. That would have been hilarious.
I mean, yes. That would have been incredible.
We can only hope that Lane got $85,000 to do that.
I'm going to venture to guess that he got nothing. But look, when I heard this morning that's what was going to happen, I was like, I don't know how that's going to play out. But it was fine. It was fine. It wasn't incredible and it wasn't awful. It was fine, in my opinion. You guys might think it was awful or wonderful or whatever, but it was fine.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it was fine.
Lane went undefeated on picks other than trolling Tennessee. That's true.
Yeah.
He did. He went completely undefeated other than trolling Tennessee.
That's the only one he missed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't believe that.
No.
So last thing I had, I don't mean to keep you guys too long, but I was talking to someone tonight. Is it kind of fair to say this defense has kind of carried the football team for about a month now?
Yeah, it's more than
3
fair.
weeks
it's
for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
which is crazy to think about. Right after Arkansas, you're like, is this 3-2-6 thing going to work? That was one of the more wilder developments of this game. I thought the defense actually showing up against a real opponent was pretty impressive.
Yeah, they've done it 4 weeks in a row now. I mean, really, they've been good since Tennessee, LSU, Auburn, Liberty, Ole Miss.
No, DJ Durkin's done a great job.
Yeah, so
he and Chris Partridge. Yeah.
All right, enjoy your night, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, y'all be good. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, Lane did miss Minnesota. Chet points that out.
Okay.
He had Minnesota beating Iowa, and Iowa won.
Okay.
Iowa won. I think he picked Minnesota, didn't he? I don't know. I wasn't paying tons of attention. The one segment I didn't understand on a show that does a lot of things that I don't really understand.
Sure.
When they brought all the food out in front of them and for a segment, and the food just sort of sat there.
Yeah.
That struck me as sort of bizarre. Like, do they do that all the time, like wherever the local food is?
I don't recall, to the best of my knowledge, I don't recall it being that centerpiece, if you will, and then just kind of there. The crowd was good. The setting shows up really well on TV. And I think that I thought it was big, even from just a fan environment standpoint, fans talking about it, frankly talking about even the guest picker. is once you get it that second time, you can kind of just have the show now. It's not the anomaly that it was the first time, and it's not, oh God, I've got to top this or do this. You're just a program that gets it, and I thought that was a big step for Ole Miss from that standpoint. I mean, I wrote about it yesterday. The biggest thing was not anything tangibly that it's going to do. It's not like 10 recruits are going to go sign with you just because you had game day, but it was a very tangible description of how you're very relevant in the middle of November, which has been a long time since that's the case. And because of that and different things, I mean, it was a 3-hour commercial that now you get tons of social media clips. You get tons of things from brochures and all that kind of stuff. There's an element of almost kind of file art to this and having it that's pretty substantial and worth a lot.
Everyone is pointing out that they always bring the food like that.
Okay.
So proof that I just didn't know.
Yeah. I don't watch 3 hours of that every week. So, Morgan Freeman was in Germany. Katy Perry was obviously busy. I know they asked Eli at least once, maybe twice. I think they asked Aaron and Ben Napier, and I think they asked Patrick Willis. And I think they might have even asked a lot more than that, but those are the ones I can sort of kind of confirm off the top of my head. So, yeah.
Hey, who do we have?
Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, I'm in tonight.
Oh, we're lovely.
I know you are.
What's going on?
So, I called a few weeks ago, and I said I had 4 questions, and it turns out I made 2 statements. My friends have reminded me of that ever since then. So tonight, Kiffin sucked tonight. Durkin was awesome. Disagree.
Go ahead. What did Kiffin do that sucked tonight?
I thought we had several field goal opportunities that he decided to go for it on. We had 408 yards of offense in the first half. They had 88. We were up 15-0. And part of that was because of the decisions that he made in the first half. Durkin was phenomenal, and the defense was phenomenal all night long. And then the second half came around. It kind of was more of the same. I love Kiffin. And this is not me calling saying Kiffin's a bad coach or anything like that. I just thought Kiffin had a bad night. I thought Durkin had a great night. And, sometimes you got to recognize what's going on out there and acknowledge it. Like, Lane is a god at Ole Miss right now, but Lane wasn't a god tonight. DJ was a god.
I tell you the one thing that I did think Lane, not that he gets credit or whatever for, but that you saw improve tonight is everybody's asked all year, why does he not swap out running backs at the goal line? And why didn't you take time, put Connor in, put your power back in? They are so banged up inside. You've got Ben Brown out for the year. And even before that, they haven't been a really good power run team in close quarters. They need the tempo advantage more than they need the specific back. And I thought that was one of the keys to that series where they ran for it, I guess, all 4 times. They did the pass on 4th down. They ran for it those first 3 from the 1-yard line. The lack of being able to catch anybody out of position is what created them not being able to score there. They simply cannot line up inside the 2-yard line and power that thing into the end zone.
But they can kick a field goal.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And now
that game at halftime, so it's 15-0. We literally are at 408 yards of offense. The game with field goals is 21-0, which is still not like the game's not over. There's nothing established at that point, but goodness gracious alive.
Don't you have to give some credit there to Texas A&M, though? I mean, they made a goal line stand. They forced a turnover. They forced another turnover that forced Ole Miss to kick a field goal. I mean, at some point you do
100%.
have to give Tim Elko, not Tim. What's his name?
Mike
Elko. Tim Elko plays for Ole Miss.
Tim Elko is a torn ACL home run hitter.
I mean, Mike Elko's had a big season at A&M. They've been very good. They're very disruptive up front. Leal is a terrific player.
He is.
They did some things too. I mean, so I don't know.
So Neal, you've been covering the SEC for a long time. How many times in the history of you covering this league have you seen 400? I mean, let's just rough yards, 400 yards to roughly 100 yards and a game that's still in question?
I mean, I'd have to think about it. I don't know. I mean, you cover enough games, and games just sort of meld into one another. I'm sure it's happened. I mean, it's rare, but again, you had a turnover and you had a goal line stand, and I mean that's potentially 14 points there. So you just never know. I mean, it's cliche, but it's true. It's a 60-minute game, and you play 60 minutes. And at the end of the day,
it is 100%.
At the Ole Miss won it. So I mean, the whole.
And hey, kudos to the defense, man. They freaking dominated.
Hey, Mark, thanks for
They
the call.
absolutely did.
Appreciate you. I mean, it's a win.
It's a huge win.
A win's it's a really big win on a big
huge
day.
win.
It's on a. If you had told me that Ole Miss would hold them to 19 points,
Each said they're going to win the football game.
I would have said I don't believe you. I mean, I picked A&M to win, and not only that, but to win big.
Wow, you picked them to win by almost 19 points.
I picked them to win by 14.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, people say why, and I was like, because I think they're really good up front, and I still think they're really good up front after watching them play. I didn't think that Ole Miss could answer that physicality. I didn't buy any of the whole Jonathan Mingo is going to play tons, and he didn't. I wasn't convinced that Dontario Drummond would be effective, and he was until late when I think he got tight. I wasn't convinced that Braylon Sanders was ready to come have a big game, and he really didn't.
Mm-mm.
So a lot of the things that I suspected came to fruition. I underestimated how good Ole Miss is on defense. I didn't think they were there yet. I didn't think
how well they held up against the run. I mean, you hold Spiller
Yeah.
to that. The other kid did a decent job, but you still contained him from taking the big run where they really got something. I mean, in a week after Liberty went for 284 on the ground against you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, people are like, what were you picking? Well, it's not very difficult to figure out what that was. Hey, who do we have?
Greg from Ohio.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
Awake is best I can explain. I've been watching football and doing housework all day. But I was calling in to ask because a friend of mine who is a diehard Michigan fan didn't understand why our defense was this bad. Is it right of me to say that, like, even though we are two coaches since Hugh, that the recruiting class in 2016 was the catalyst for, like, because he had the NCAA at that time as well, but how poorly he recruited on defense that year had repercussions that still affect us today.
There has not been a defensive emphasis for a long time, starting with that. I mean, you had Hugh kind of set a tone a little bit, but, I mean, frankly, while, yeah, I see what you're saying as far as that's what started the trend, I mean, Matt Luke's staff just didn't close on in-state kids, didn't close on defensive guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't a group that was able to put enough dudes together for myriad reasons. I mean, they didn't get N'Kobe Dean, they didn't get some of those dudes that would have been game changers. And here's the thing, I do think the talent is better with Springer, and I mean, Chance Campbell's been excellent this season. Sam takes that big step that if he doesn't, they're not right here 8-2 right now. He's worth a win by himself. But in saying that, they also are in year 2 of a system where they're just coaching better. I mean, they've done a really good job finding plans to put in place in year 2 with Durkin and Partridge and those guys. Randall Joyner's done a hell of a job in his season as well of putting them in the right place. I mean, you look at it, they still make mistakes, but a lot of times it's not busted coverages. It's not even getting to the right spot. It's just physical limitations that they still have and they still have to fix.
It feels like that first half was fantastic. Second half started okay, but when Springer got ejected for targeting, what was the targeting?
It was targeting. It was targeting.
I wasn't by the TV at that time, but like it seemed like after that, that's when they spiraled for a bit.
Well, they did because I
They
mean,
were able to
he
catch
is
themselves,
absolutely the
but-
quarterback of the defense as far as what they're able to do and not do. I mean, it is a huge difference with and without Springer all season. I mean, not even close. So,
Like, is there anybody who's like a fourth linebacker Like, would you have Lakia Henry in quotation marks as the fourth, or is there just it's 1, 2, 3 with?
They're more
the
likely to
trunk,
move
and then
up
4 if
safeties
anybody
at
on
that point.
the thing.
I think they would play more defensive backs at that point.
Oh, okay.
I do. I just don't think there's
Also, second question. Do you remember Marriage drunk call-in guy from a few games back? Has he ever called back in?
Who are we talking about?
You talking about? Yeah. He's called a couple of times.
Who are we talking about?
Okay.
Brad.
He was sober,
yeah.
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was not
I
drunk.
thought
No, he's clear.
No,
I thought he was drunk.
No, he was very sober.
No.
Very sober.
Oh, okay. Because I've been wondering. I've been able to listen because I've been at work selling cell phones, so I've been able to listen for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if the saga of Marriage Brad has continued.
Yeah, it has.
But
Hey,
all right.
thanks for the call.
Get some sleep.
well,
Appreciate you.
I'll leave you guys.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too. The whole picking apart
It's a win
a win over the 11th ranked team in the country that was
by double digits.
That was earlier in the day. People were talking about how they could get into the playoff. Not sure I completely
Just go with it.
things that surprised me.
You didn't expect a negative call.
No. I don't understand. I mean, you're 8-2 with your 2 losses at Alabama and at Auburn. Pretty solid.
And you're winning games with defense.
Yeah.
I mean, had they told us in the preseason, hey, look, the defense is going to be whatever, but they're going to have to win football games, we went, oh, shit, this thing down the stretch is going to be a problem.
Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Cole from Greenville.
Hey, Cole, what's up?
Not much. Hey, listen, just a couple quick questions. Did you guys think, and I know this is probably being overly critical, but did you guys think Matt looked a little off tonight? I mean, it looked like he missed a couple throws that he doesn't usually miss.
Yeah, he is.
Just
I mean, look,
curious to hear y'all guys take.
Yeah, he's playing hurt, number one, and that injury causes him to miss practice, which gets you out of your rhythms and routines and gets you a little rusty, and that rust shows a little bit when it happens. I don't think it's any more complicated than that. I think he's playing on a bum ankle. I mean, and you use that ankle. Right. You use that ankle to plant. You use that ankle to. I don't think it's any coincidence that as games go on, he deteriorates a little bit. I think the shot wears off. I've said this before. Pain is pain. I mean, people talk about toughness and all that BS. If you hurt, it is your natural inclination to try to do what it takes to not hurt.
Yeah.
And so
hurts.
Pain hurts, and you try to avoid said pain, and you end up. I'm sure his mechanics are off a little bit. I'm not enough of a technician to break that down, but I suspect that if I sat down with somebody who was a quarterback technician, they would say, yeah, he's off right here, and this probably isn't as fundamentally sound as he normally would be, and some of that stuff. So that's to be expected. He's playing hurt.
Is he still in the Heisman race?
I think he's in the Heisman race because nobody has claimed the Heisman.
I think he has a really good shot to get there. I just have a hard time seeing how he gets the stats to win it.
Yeah,
I think he has
that's more than
I think
that.
Ole Miss is 2 wins away from him being invited.
Hey, one last question. Does some of Lane's antics that happened tonight, that going for it on 4th down so often and just turn the ball over so many trips to the red zone without points, it's hard to criticize after a big win, but does that hurt his ability maybe to potentially land another job to Florida, LSU's of the world see that and say, hey, we don't really want to mess with that? What do you guys think?
Enjoy.
Enjoy. I'm not trying to make fun. You just need to try to enjoy the ride a little bit. It's Saturday night. I mean, look, here's the thing about Lane Kiffin and the whole leaving thing. If he's going to leave, he's going to leave. And there's nothing you can do. I mean, I guess you could go put a gun to his head, but that probably wouldn't go over particularly well. And
okay,
he hung up. He's mad. People want to do this conversation incessantly. What precisely has happened today to make people think that Lane Kiffin's closer to leaving? That tweet is more makes me if I'm going to hyper judge something, I'm going to be like, oh, some bitch, he's thinking about staying. And where's he going?
Well, Miami lost the football game.
Miami lost. So if caller, hang on, I'll get to you. If Lane Kiffin wants to go to Miami, you can't stop him from going to Miami.
And you're paying a lot of money.
And
go find the next dude.
So here's the deal. They're going to go pay – exactly. This is the point. Hang on, caller. We're going to get right to you. Here's the thing. They're going to pay him – what's he making now? 6?
Right at – he's going to make it over 6 if he signs an extension this year.
Okay, so
it's like 5.5 right now.
They're going to get –
5.8.
He's got the best agent in the business. He's going to get a new deal making – let's just call it 7.5, okay? For kicks and giggles, let's call it 7.5. So if somebody else is going to beat that and hire him away, there's nothing you can do about it. And now you are a big-time program. You're going to wake up tomorrow. Tomorrow's November the 14th.
In the top 10 of the country.
And you're going to be somewhere around 9th, I'm guessing, 8th, 9th in the country. Is that about right?
Yeah, in the middle of November.
Yeah, with playing Vanderbilt. You're on Thanksgiving night, you're going to be 7th, 6th in the country.
Yeah.
In Starkville, playing them for a chance to go to the whatever
Peach Bowl or Sugar Bowl or whatever.
A big name bowl.
Yeah. Something food related.
I mean, you've established, this is 2 coaches now in 6 years that have established that you can be a top 10 program. So you go treat the job like it's a top 10 job and you go hunting if it comes to that. Personally, I don't think it's going to, but if it does, there's not a damn thing you can do about it other than say, hey, we've yet again established that we can win here and we can win big here, and here we go.
Well, it's kind of like you said, too. I mean, look, there's a lot of talk whenever he does leave, whether it's this year or in 14 years, about, hey, we got Levy and you got to do this because of this. You're paying enough money. Neal said it the other day on the phone, so I'm not taking his thing. Why are you not the one calling Mario Cristobal? Or calling whomever in the country and going, hey, come coach my team.
I mean, I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
I'm calling Matt Campbell.
Tell me no.
Yeah, tell me no. If you tell me no, you tell me no. I'm going to find somebody. I will find somebody who will take my $7 million.
I have 3 letters across my shoulder that you really need. You'd like to be in that conference, and I pay you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I have a quarterback that's probably going to New York to at least compete for the Heisman Trophy.
And now both Hugh Freeze and Lane Kiffin have done it.
That is a good point. Kiffin's like 13-2 in his last 15 or something.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
Yeah.
Hey, who do we have? I'm sorry for making you hold.
Oh, you're fine. It's Leif.
Hey, Leif, what's up?
Well, just out walking my dog.
Say something positive.
Yeah, I'm about to say something positive. I'm excited about this game. I'm glad we won. Someone told me something maybe about 9 or 10 years ago. I was that sort of changed my perception in a lot in life. I was out in Los Angeles, and it was on a Sunday afternoon. We were sitting at a sports bar, and this guy showed up, and he was watching the game with us, and he said he did something on this Adam Sandler movie. It's a terrible, terrible Adam Sandler movie where he played brother and a sister. But I started talking to him, and I was like, man, no offense, that movie looks like it sucks. So why are you going to this premiere? And he's like, man, get to drink champagne, get to party with, my friends. Yeah, the movie is bad, but he said, at least we got paid. We didn't get any lawsuits. Sometimes, man, sometimes stuff really sucks. So even when it sucks a little less, but you still get a win, hey, that's all good. And so that's sort of the way I thought about it tonight.
Here's the thing, and like even
of course I was.
Even you, Leif. Like I'm not criticizing here, but they didn't beat Vanderbilt 31-30, where you go, God, they won at least. Holy hell, whatever.
Hold up.
You beat A&M.
Hold on.
Like, who gives a damn what it looked like? Who cares?
2 years ago.
You won by 10 points.
2 years ago.
I know.
And this isn't directed at you, Leif. It's just kind of in general. 2 years ago on Thanksgiving night, you had to bring in the quarterback who was about to transfer to Oregon to replace the one who could play the piano really well, who couldn't do anything that night because he was hurt. You were losing against a very average – is that being fair to Mississippi State? Were they even average 2 years ago?
Let's call them mediocre.
Okay, a very mediocre Mississippi State team. I'm trying to put this in complete perspective. Who had that night they were planning to have a press conference the next morning to fire their coach. Yeah. Okay? That's where they were. And the only reason that anybody watched the game is because it was on Thanksgiving and you have to do something that night while you lay around after having eaten and drank too much. And the only reason that people talked about that game was because your best player, the wide receiver that caught the ball, he decided at that moment to do the fake pee thing, and then your kicker misses the kick. I mean, that's where you were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, you were a laughing stock. Nobody took Ole Miss seriously. You weren't relevant. You were a joke. Today, your program was the face of college football.
I totally agree.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, to me, right.
I mean, to me, that's the whole. I don't know how you find a negative there.
Well, we've had what, 1.5 recruiting cycles with Kiffin as our coach. Everybody can see we were limited in what we could actually do offensively tonight. And I mean, we're plugging people in left and right, and Matt got popped at least twice, maybe 3 times. Really good. It's a win. At the end of the day, it's a win, and we're 8-2, and it's the best we could do today.
It's a really big win. No, it's not. It's a big win. It's a really big win. I mean, I don't get it. I'm borderline frustrated.
I understand
right now.
that people are disappointed because the offense is supposed to be explosive and it wasn't. But you know how huge it is that Ole Miss won a game with their defense and has won several in a row. Your offense isn't explosive because your quarterback has one ankle. You're out 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a right guard who's an All-American. That's why your offense sucks.
Eli Acker started. This isn't a knock on Eli Acker because I think Eli Acker is going to end up being a really good player at Ole Miss. But I don't think the plan this year was, hey, in Week 10, Eli Acker is going to start at guard. Maybe
Jalen Cunningham played 58 snaps last week.
Yeah, and didn't play much tonight because I guess he was hurt.
I don't know.
Hey, Leif, thanks for the call.
No problem. Thanks.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, the offense doesn't suck. I'm just frustrated.
Hey, who do we have?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Tommy, how are you?
Hey, thanks for the hats.
Man, y'all look good in them.
We do. I opened it up and I went, oh, that's nice.
Man, I looked at it. I said, man, they're wearing my hats. Y'all guys look good. I mean, I just y'all send a lot of love to the truckers, so I wanted to send y'all some trucker gear.
We can do the trucker thing for hours.
Yeah, we're both fascinated by the trucking thing.
Oh yeah, man, y'all rocking those hats though.
We're all in. Did you watch the game tonight? Where you at?
I'm in Oxford.
Oh, you're home. Okay.
I am home. I was gonna go up there, but I'm kind of weary about I'm gonna go next week to Vanderbilt. I'm kind of weary about taking. I got a 21-year-old, a 11-year-old, and a 5-year-old. I'm kind of weary about taking that 11-year-old to those real crowded home games.
Yeah, I get that. Although is it a boy or girl?
He's a boy.
Oh, he'd probably love it.
He'd love it, but if they started, like when LSU was here, if they started fighting in front of me and he's with me, I'd kind of get aggravated at them.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I've been going to games since the early 90s, and I know how it is when it's the contentious SEC games versus the ones that don't matter. And I like to I take him to one a year, and if I'd have took him to this one, I'd have probably got upset.
Well, I still think they'll get a really good crowd next Saturday. Home finale, senior day, all that stuff. Yeah. It might not be. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a zoo like it has been the last couple of days. But
considering the opponent, it will be as good as humanly possible.
Yeah, Vanderbilt probably won't bring too many people.
I doubt it. They don't bring too many people to their own place.
A little bit better than Commodore Walk on. The Walk of Champions.
Yeah,
what do they call their thing? Is it?
We just call it Commodore Walk. They had pairs of people today.
Pairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dozens of people.
Yeah, well, I don't know about dozens. Pairs, Tommy. At
That's
least,
like I had people on the
at
message
least
board.
4.
I had people on the message board frustrated going, Ole Miss plays Vanderbilt next week. You're looking ahead. I'm like, A, I don't play,
Yeah.
and B, it's Vanderbilt. If something goes wrong, we have a much bigger issue than me putting a headline up next week.
We're talking about a whole different story. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude.
I mean, I can't talk today. I mean, I'm hoarse. My wife is like, Tommy, you're scaring the kids. I'm like, I can't help it. I'm still screaming because they're, in the first half, they're still, and in the second half, they're still just run. I'm like, this is going nowhere. But, if we lose to Vanderbilt, I don't know. They might have to go get a hotel.
Yeah, they're not losing to Vanderbilt. That won't be a problem.
I don't think so either.
You hitting the road this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave out in the morning. I just gotta go to St. Louis, and then I gotta go. I got like 3 drops in Alabama, 3 drops in Louisiana, and I'm right back here for next weekend.
Okay, well, good. We'll have a safe trip. Okay.
All right, buddy. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Always good to hear from Tommy. Yeah, Denver says, is Vandy really spending $300 million in their facilities? It doesn't show. Congrats to Allen. Allen's the Razorback fan in the chat. Big win for them.
It was a big win.
Yep.
I mean, what they've done. I mean, it's
something tells me they're not calling into their show picking apart.
I bet they're pumped up in Hogville today.
7-3, man.
What is the old message board? Hogville.net back in the day? The really insane Arkansas message
board? Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, who do we have?
Anthony.
Hey,
Missouri.
Hey, Anthony, what's up?
Not much positive. Hey, we had almost 400+ yards in the first half against one of the top 3 defenses in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
And it looks like we had a top 5 defense in the country. But, no, so do you think we sit the starters after the first half?
If they can. Yeah, absolutely. If they can, they absolutely have to.
And all this did keep winning, and Lane's going to bring in the recruits. This is the best thing we could wish for this year. Thanks, guys, for the show.
Yeah,
I'm going to hang up and listen.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, today's about as good as you can show them.
It's
right. I mean,
literally all you can do.
That's about the best you can. Between the LSU game and the Texas A&M game, I mean, you've proven. That's the part to me that you've established. You've proven that, like Kiffin said in the tweet, you can get great atmospheres, and that you can get the big time games to come to your place, and you can get game day to come to your place, and you can compete and win on that stage. I mean, if you were expecting 10-0 at this point, like I said, I kind of don't. I don't know what world you're living in, although I would love to have some of the drugs that you're using because I'd love to be that happy. Hey, who do we have?
Jesse from Waynesboro.
Hey, Jesse, what's up?
What's up? Can you realistically break down the probability that Lane Kiffin leaves for a job like Florida or Miami? Like, I've heard y'all say that a lot, or other people say it too, and just kind of want to know, like, the probability of it, because I love Lane Kiffin. I want him to stay, but I know he might leave.
I mean, he's nowhere close to the top at LSU. I can't. Number one, Florida hasn't fired Dan Mullen. Number two, I'd be shocked if that was a job that Lane Kiffin and Scott Strickland don't make a lot of sense together.
Yeah.
I mean, if he goes to Miami, he's taking a pay cut. And number one,
okay.
Number two, Miami hasn't fired Manny Diaz yet, and might not. He'd have to take a pay cut there. They're not going to give him all of the money to put together the staff and all the stuff that he's got at Ole Miss. Look, if Alabama called and offered him a job today, is he taking it? Yes. He and every other coach in the country not named Kirby Smart. So
of course.
Stuff like that. But I mean, the other stuff, like I said a minute ago, I mean, I can't speak to the probabilities. I've written this, and I think it bothers people when I write this, and I don't know why, because it's just the truth. Lane Kiffin doesn't open up to people like us. I don't know what.
Frankly, almost anyone. I mean, it's not even necessarily like us. He is an introvert who has very few people.
I don't know what his innermost thoughts are. I don't know what his dreams and goals and wishes and all that are, except he tweeted tonight, this is what they came here for. And they want to win games, and he wants to win big, and he wants to win championships. I've talked about this. He picked Ole Miss over Arkansas, not because it had nothing to do with the charm of Oxford or with pretty girls or whatever. I mean, look, Lane Kiffin can get pretty girls anywhere he ever goes, okay? It has nothing in there. And every, if you go to any place, there are pretty girls there. I mean, give me a break. It's the most idiotic, ludicrous, it drives me insane. He picked Ole Miss because he thought he could win nationally at Ole Miss more than he could win nationally at Arkansas. That's it. Nothing more. It had nothing to do with
how truthful do you think
restaurants or any of that stuff.
Keith Carter saying that we can keep him and the money that we have at Ole Miss. How truthful do you think that is?
How true is it? What?
That Keith Carter this week, I think I saw an interview or something. He said
we lost him.
I think he was saying, how true is it they can spend whatever money it takes to keep him?
Right.
I do not think salary will be the reason Lane Kiffin leaves whenever Lane Kiffin, if or when leaves at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying a minute ago. It's that whole deal of it feels like this is the wrong night to break out the supermodel analogy, except maybe it's the right night to do the supermodel analogy. If you're dating a supermodel, you want to stay with her as long as you can for two reasons. Number one, because she's a supermodel. Number two, the longer you stay with the supermodel, the more other supermodels are going to suddenly find you attractive.
Sure.
And that rings true. There are people that there were other coaches today, I promise you. There were other coaches today who didn't play until nighttime or whatever, who turned on College Game Day for a minute this morning in their hotel or whatnot, head coaches, assistant coaches, and saw it and thought to themselves, man, I bet that place is cool.
Mike Norvell probably was one of them.
Sure.
Stuff he's going on today. Mike, he went,
some bitch.
All right, yeah.
But, I mean, so, that's kind of the point, is that at some point, either he wants to go or he gets a job that's so clearly a better job that he takes it. And at that point, you go fish in big waters.
Yeah.
The days of you just promoting somebody, and I'm not picking on Matt Luke here, but the days of a Matt Luke type hire are over. And so you've elevated, and he's elevated you. And if he elevates you for 2 more years, great. If it's for 6 more years, great. If it's for 2 more weeks, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. You move on as a program, and you once again, both Hugh Freeze and Lane Kiffin have taken Ole Miss into the top 10 in November. That's proof that it can be done.
Yeah. Well, I've thought about this all year. The attendance, kind of the attendance subject. I think a lot of Ole Miss fans, me included, I've been an Ole Miss fan since I was little. I grew up on I'm relatively young. I grew up on the Hugh Freeze era. And, I mean, it was just a different type of football. And I think Ole Miss fans are they have a trust issue with coaches. And Lane Kiffin and all these rumors of him going and leaving.
You think Ole Miss has a trust issue with coaches?
It's affecting us going to the games. I'd go to more games if I thought Kiffin would stay. Do you know what I mean?
Don't do that.
But why? Why?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Who's staying forever? Frank Beamer is not.
Okay, but hold up. Let me go back to this because I'm going to play the role of therapist. Are you married?
I'm engaged.
Okay, let's pretend for a moment that you're not.
Okay.
Who's the hot supermodel of the day? I don't even know anymore. I mean, I've hit the point in my life where it doesn't matter.
Just say like Bar Raffaelli and call it a day.
All right, Bar Raffaelli wants to date you for a while. Are you going to say no? Okay. Listen, she can have any man she wants. At some point she's going to dump you, okay?
Yeah.
Are you going to pass on that because you're afraid of being dumped down the road, or are you going to just enjoy the day?
That's a tough question.
It's not for me.
I don't know. I mean, I like stability. You know what I mean?
College football's not for you then.
But
I mean,
so you're going to pass on. You're going to and again, if the other because when you hang out with Bar Raffaelli, she is not going to go hang out like at the. She's not going to go hang out at the Girl Scout troop. She's probably going to hang out with other supermodels, which means she's going to drag you along and you're going to meet them. And some of them are going to wonder what it is about you that Bar sees. Okay?
I've heard you say this before. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
They're going to think I don't get it. So it must be something. In other words, they're going to be intrigued. And so when Bar dumps you,
except in this case, it's not even a whatever. You literally, your bank account is plastered all over the world. I mean, the deposit slip fell out of your pocket. It has $6.5 million in it.
Yeah. So when Bar dumps you, the odds are 2 or 3 of her supermodel friends are going to be interested.
Right.
Yeah. So you just move to the next supermodel. And then after that, you're going to make
you've got the confidence to pick up the phone and call them.
And after that, you're going to have them in your phone, and you're going to be calling them. You're going to be the one dumping a supermodel to go get a new supermodel.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
That only starts one place. So I mean, if you're not taking the date with Bar because you're afraid of getting dumped, well, you're never going to be 10-2 in November going to the Sugar Bowl. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, while I got you on the phone, what do you think the attendance problem is? Like, I saw some top corners of the sideline seats. I saw them empty still tonight.
Did you watch other football games?
I did.
They're all that way.
Okay.
It's everywhere. People can watch games on high definition. It's $3.10 a gallon to fill up your tank right now. Hotels in Oxford are $600 a night on these weekends. Not everybody can do it. I mean, not everybody can do that. So people, if the option is to stay home and watching your 75-inch HD screen and drink beer and hang out with the wife and not have to pay for parking, that's what some people are going to do sometimes. I mean, I'll use my family as an example. Carson had a high school soccer game today. I mean, if we had if we were Ole Miss fans who normally went to the Grove, we would not have been able to go today. We would have had to sell our tickets. I mean, that's lots of people. So that's just the way the world works. I mean, the days of jam-packed stadiums are over. Everybody's going to, when they redo their stadium, they're going to make the stadium smaller. And they're going to have fewer seats and more amenities, more creature comforts. Hey, thanks for the call.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Hey, who's this?
It's Cole.
Hey, Cole.
Say something good.
Say something nice.
Gosh dang it, guys. Get over yourself. We just beat Texas A&M. Good Lord.
Hey, Cole.
We're going to be in the top 10 tomorrow.
Hey, Cole, are you going to end this call at some point? Because I'm nervous. I mean, are we going to talk forever, or at some point are you going to hang up and go hang out with Megan? Because I just need to know now.
Look, as a guy who...
You're not answering my question, Cole. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
As a guy who outkicked this coverage, let me tell you how to hang on to a smoke show.
Uh-huh.
And that's by not being so damn clingy and asking her when she's going to leave you. Good grief.
Be confident around this thing, right?
Yes. Yeah, act like you've been there before, because if she does leave, then like everybody else are going to go, man, that girl is crazy. Like, just enjoy it. Good God.
Did you enjoy yourself tonight, Cole? Did you have a good time at the game?
Well, speaking of that, we were going to take the kids because the girls wanted to stay home because it's cold. And then my daughter said, hey, I want you to stay home and watch the game with me. And I fell for that. And by middle first quarter, she was done with it.
Oh.
So, so I'm cashing in her wedding fund and college fund tomorrow.
Do you like yell and scream? Are you quiet on the couch watching? Like, what's the setup?
Yeah, it goes back and forth, but I was close to the whiskey, which helped out. So I popped open the Sam Houston 15 in celebration, and that is delicious.
I've never had it. What we got?
Yeah. It's strong. Well, I mean, anytime you have a chance to buy something that's 15 years old at retail price, like you got to do it.
Sure.
But I know about whiskey. Gosh dang it, we beat Texas A&M. We had game day there. Like we have a chance to go 10-2. Good Lord, everybody!
At the start of the season, if I write on the board, hey, the football gods have come down, and you're going to be 8-2 with game day. You're going to beat Texas A&M by double digits, and you're going to be ranked in the top 10 in the country. I mean,
I don't know.
There wouldn't have been a dry eye in the house.
Is Kiffin leaving?
Did somebody go around and shoot everybody's dog? Is that what happened?
I don't. I'm worried about an egg bowl loss right now.
Go down chimneys and shoot everyone's dog tonight. I
now
feel like that's what happened.
Now that you say that, it was funny. Today, Rizzo the dog kind of just repeatedly would walk up to me and just stare deeply into my eyes. Kind of like there was a lot on his mind, and so maybe this is affecting everyone, even 4-year-old Labrador retrievers that aren't particularly bright. I mean, maybe there's just a lot to think about right now because he stared deeply into my eyes. I mean, he was searching for answers.
For the chat, no, I did not get a divorce. I am still happily married to my gorgeous wife, and I'm not going to go ask her if she's going to leave me tonight. So, anyways, guys, y'all have a fantastic night. Everybody else, cheer the F up. Hotty toddy.
Let her go.
Black hole. See, he did end it.
He did.
He did. Cole ended it. And now there's nobody else calling.
Everybody's... And I don't think you guys are actually upset. There's just like a weird...
So next week, if they don't beat Vanderbilt by 50...
Oh, I mean, seriously, if it's like... If it's 28-13 at the half, like we might have to open the suicide hotline. Like I'm
It says brain drain wasn't this depressing.
Oh God.
Auburn gave up 40 straight points in that game. 40.
I did really enjoy on Brain Drain today. No offense, Jay, if you're listening, that the Auburn people were discussing conspiracies against them in the league office. So we had that.
Oh,
going.
Were they really?
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
State gets all the calls. We're screwed. Okay. Every fan base, ladies and gentlemen. Because, my God.
Yeah.
That targeting late did suck from a penalty
That was a
standpoint.
bad call.
By the book, it was correct. But I didn't give it a chance in hell of getting called right there.
Yeah, that was I'm not one to have a lot of sympathy for Auburn on officiating, but I felt the pain there. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, man, I got a little something positive to say. I know you want a little positive.
And you're not allowed to call. No, this is a negative show, Jason. We are only talking the crap today. Go ahead.
Look, okay. So, we're 8-2, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're coming out here, you got, Drummond on half a leg. Sanders on basically half, 50%. You got Corral on 50%, and who can complain? Why can you complain about 8-2 when you got basically with a start in 18, right? Before the season, you're talking about, if we're 8-2 at this point, you're looking at 10-2, 9-3 at the worst at this point in the season. I just don't understand the negativity over what went on tonight. Over honestly, we whooped the ass of a better team. If we're being serious, they're a better team. It's they got a better defense. The offense is more consistent.
Yeah, no,
I just don't understand.
Everybody's picking on me, Jason, like on the message board and calling me names and stuff for picking A&M to win. Lots of people.
I expected them to win tonight.
I mean, I even knowing the result, I don't think it was a bad pick.
I expected a 10-point win from A&M when I went to the ball game today, but went in expecting that. They're a better team on an average day, on a normal day, and Ole Miss just played better today. I just don't understand the negativity tonight coming from you're 8-2. Before the season, everybody would have thought this was exceptional at this point.
Because it is exceptional.
I just don't get it.
It is exceptional.
I think Lane Kiffin's. You can argue about. He should have kicked this. He should have gone for that. Should not have gone for that. Whatever. You can nitpick here and there, but I think he's done an exceptional job coaching this year.
Who's coaching?
With what like I said, like you basically with this right now, and for basically half the season, a start in 18. You're not really even a 22, and you're definitely not you don't have a second team that can come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of depth. They did such a great job on Spiller today. I thought Broker did a really good job against Leal. You're never going to shut down Leal. He's just too good. He's going to make plays. He's such a player of that. I mean, he's a first round pick.
Right. Right.
But Broker was terrific. I tell you who else was great was Jeremy James on the other side.
Good.
Jeremy James was really good.
He shut him down.
Yeah, there was a lot of
in the
positives.
fourth quarter. Caleb Warren was damn good in the middle.
Yeah,
gave him a little bit there.
Yeah, I think they're having.
I felt like the O-line tonight. The guys that played really just leaned on them the whole game.
Yeah.
They opened up lanes. They didn't have. Wasn't every drive that they had open lanes, but when it counted, they were there, and big huge lanes for these guys to run through and get big yards when it counted.
Yeah, no, they played really well. The running game fell apart a little bit in the third quarter. That's about it. Other than that, I thought they were really good. They protected Matt. They had a big day.
They did really protect him off the edges.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a trouble with I think A&M's a better team on an average day. I think we outplayed them today. That's all that matters is you outplay them on the day when it matters. But I feel like most of the time they're going to beat us. But they outplayed them today, and 8-2 is a hell of a season, the way to go. And you look at it 9-2 after next week. Hopefully, get some guys healthy and see what you can do if you get 10-2.
Hey, thanks for the call. Someone points out, Chasing, they're right. We haven't mentioned his name. Jerry Neal was terrific.
Yeah, 152, I think, tonight.
Yeah, he was exceptional.
His second chance yards were the best I've ever seen from him. Getting that extra, getting his head in there. He was great tonight.
Who's coach of the year in the SEC? Does Kirby win it? Even though they were expected to be this good, does Kirby Smart win it? And if it's not him,
I think it's Kiffin. If they go 10-2, I think it's Kirby in any other situation, right?
Yeah, I got to think about it. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is Dan, Oxford/Jackson, living the y'all lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
Hey Dan.
Hey guys, how are y'all? Look, hey Ole Miss fans, get you some vino, get you some bourbon, get you water, get you sweet tea, whatever you need. We're 8-2. Stop with the complaint. Lane Kiffin, he's not. Where is he going to go? Belhaven? Who knows? I don't know.
Belhaven. I haven't even thought about Belhaven.
Yeah, Belhaven, Millsaps.
Yeah.
I mean, stop with it. We're 8-2. We just beat Texas A&M.
How much to Millsaps? I mean, if he does it.
There you go.
Yeah, and look, it might be Jackson. They could replace Deion at Jackson State. Anyway, I'm just saying, what a win. Like you said, Jerry Neal had a hell of a game. And look, we won a game, and Matt Corral didn't play well. What does that say?
Yeah, well, and you had to figure at some point in the season Matt was going to have a day where he wasn't awesome, right?
That's
I mean, because he's been phenomenal most of the season, so he was kind of due a mortal game, and he had one tonight, and you won anyway. I mean, it speaks volumes for your program. Actually, that's the big thing. I mean, if every day he had to go be Johnny Manziel in his prime, and that's not a great recipe for long sustained success.
Neal and Chase, I've called in here several times. Let's go back. If people want to think back, 23 months ago, 23 months.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. I mean, stop, Ole Miss fans. Enjoy it. Bask in the glory. I mean, what a day we had.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, 9-2 is 7 days away. 9-2.
Well,
you're going to eat your turkey at 9-2.
Yeah.
I'm not even doing this entertaining Vanderbilt winning a football game.
No.
I refuse.
Hey, who do we have? They hung up. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Steve in Greenville.
Hey, Steve.
Hey. Yeah, I'm with the other guy. I don't see what all the negativity is about. I mean, the only negative person in my house is my daughter who wants to go to A&M, but she'll get over it.
Why does she want to go to A&M?
She wants to be a vet.
Oh, okay.
But she's 10, so,
Oh, yeah.
I can change that.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah. She might end up at Auburn.
When I was 10, I wanted to be a center fielder.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people did cheer up. I can remember a time when we would have killed for this record.
Yeah.
But every year almost.
Last year.
I mean.
Yeah.
And the year before that. And the year before that. And the year before that.
But
yeah.
Anyway, everybody just needs to cheer up and drink a beer.
I think they've had too many. Like I think
Maybe
that's
what it is.
Thank
Thanks
you
for the
calling.
call.
I think that some of it is everybody's like had so much that they're in that like lull after you kind of
Maybe
had a
so.
bit of like we're not getting the uppity part of it. We're getting the lower part of it.
Yeah, maybe so. Hey, who do we have?
And it's Amanda and Roy.
Hey, Amanda.
It's mainly Amanda. Oh, hello, Neal. How are you doing?
Oh, we're great. How are you?
We're pretty good. We've had way too much to drink. We have friends over.
The game was freaking awesome, though.
Oh my God! Can you believe that Ole Miss won?
Yeah. I mean, no, because I picked
one of us picked it.
I picked him to lose, but Chase picked him to win.
Let me just say, Neal, I cannot believe you did not pick them.
I didn't think they were capable of doing what they did tonight. I freely admit that.
It's a lane effing train.
That's true. I watched them give up a ton of yards last week to Liberty and not score at all in the second half. And
here's the whole thing. Let me just tell you. Let me tell you. Liberty was not even worth watching. So it was Texas A&M all won. So I'm so excited. I mean, Lane Kiffin. I saw him he was like shaking on the sideline the whole time.
Neal, this is my wife on White Claw, just so you know.
No, I'm not doing that.
It's awesome, though.
No,
I mean,
Yeah.
just having a blast.
No, sir. No, sir. We're not
Hey,
doing
we
that.
haven't watched the show yet, and we're not following along live. We've been, after the game,
Okay.
just drinking and doing karaoke and stuff like that. So I was just like, let's just call in. I'll hit the number and see if we can get on there, and we'll go back and watch it later.
Okay.
But
so,
it's just been such a great night.
Pause.
Game
Pause.
day,
Pause.
everything's been good.
Pause. Brittany's talking. Brittany's
I like that, though.
Pause.
We went for that
Oh, so we
fourth
got-
down.
all right, this is somebody besides Amanda.
Neal come around there.
We have an extra person.
Yeah.
Neal and Chase know. Okay. Neal and Chase know that Amanda is not the messy one. It's Roy.
Okay.
Well-
Neal, Chase, let me ask you one question.
Sure.
How many people did they go through before Lane Kiffin was the guest picker? How many people do you think they went through?
14.
I don't think he done a really bad job, and his picks were really freaking awesome today. He picked a bunch of upsets. It wasn't the one for Georgia.
It was
Tennessee,
completely fine. The people that had a really bad day about him being the picker was stupid. Like it doesn't matter. It was fine. I had no
It
issue
really
with it.
doesn't matter. No.
I'm just glad it ended up being Wright Thompson. I think
So let me.
Lane Kiffin was pretty good.
No, let me just say, Neal and Chase, I'm so excited, you guys. Y'all are the Henricks guys. You know what you're doing. And I'm so happy that y'all, picked everything.
Yes.
And I'm so glad they won. I mean, go Ole Miss, hotty toddy.
And just for a shout out, Brittany and Tyler are over here too. We're in Huntsville, Alabama. So if anybody needs any houses built or remodel work or something like that, Tyler's the guy. So.
All right.
What? Real quick. What flavor White Claw are we drinking tonight?
That's who's talking to you.
All the flavors.
Amanda.
My name is Brittany.
Amanda's right here.
Either
What's
way,
up, guys?
one of you.
Yeah.
What flavor White Claws?
Okay. What?
What flavor White Claws are you drinking?
Oh my God! It's like a
I'm drinking tangerine.
Tangerine and watermelon.
I kind of like pineapple. Pineapple's pretty good.
Okay.
Tangerine, watermelon is the best.
Okay.
It's mostly been bourbon and Miller Lite, but.
Okay, wait. Why does that even matter?
Hey, Neal.
Pause.
Neal and Chase. Brittany and I have been in Birmingham all day at a cheer competition, and we are we need the White Claws because we have had all these girls just compete all over our asses. Competition for cheer. And, oh, my God, it's the last day, so we were like, praise God. But she has tangerine, and I have watermelon.
Okay. I was just curious.
Hey, y'all have fun.
Okay. Love
Well,
y'all. Love y'all.
Thank y'all for putting up with us.
See y'all. Bye.
See you,
Bye,
guys.
y'all.
Pedialyte and ibuprofen before you go to sleep. That is.
you do the same.
Lots of water. Lots of water
You do the same.
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
GameChangerPatch.com. Also,
it might be.
It's too late for the warm up, but
oh yeah,
yeah, but
that's true. Like they did say pineapple.
Yeah, they did almost, but I didn't. I stopped myself. Thanks to Windy City Reb. Thanks to Phil Upton. Uppin. Phil, how do you say that? UPON. UPON? Wouldn't be Uppin, would it? Maybe? I don't know.
Where? Oh. UPON, probably.
UPON, probably.
Yeah. Eli was busy and Morgan Freeman's in Germany. Like I said, I did not really mean to have that for a beat this week. I know way more about this than I ever intended. I don't really understand why.
Well, I give you credit for working on it because I didn't.
I had Lane last night, and everybody got really frustrated at me about it.
Well, at some point they had to put somebody up there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to suspect that Lane wanted to do it.
It's a huge exposure.
Yeah, that Lane. I'm going to guess that when Katy Perry couldn't,
it didn't have to get very far down the list where it was like, hey.
Well, I'm going to guess that he started pushing for it as soon as Katy Perry couldn't do it. He wanted Katy Perry. Katy Perry's.
That makes
sense.
Yeah, sure. And they were able to involve her. They got that done.
Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, it's Vibin Reb.
Hey Vibin, what's up, man?
Man, we're about to win 9 games in year 2. It feels amazing.
So you're predicting a loss to Mississippi State?
No, I'm not going to predict that. I'm predicting. You know what?
And they're going to lose the bowl game too.
I would put money. You know, I pushed on Arkansas today. I lost money on Kentucky. And I think
what was the Kentucky
today,
final?
But I'm willing to bet that they're going to beat Vanderbilt next week and probably cover.
I feel good about the Vanderbilt game next week.
What was the Kentucky final?
Kentucky was 34-6, and this is the part where you just love gambling, right? You take them at a 20-point line. I think they're up 34-6. They just decide, you know what, we're good. We're just not going to score a point in the second half and win 34-17.
Oh, that does suck.
Yeah, I mean that. Literally,
like you talk about next week. Like I don't know. Like what's the line on Ole Miss? Let me think. I'm going to guess the Ole Miss 30.
You think it's in the 30s?
No,
I would. 30?
Yeah, I was going to say 32 and a half.
I'm going to say 26. They're so banged
do you
up.
think Vegas is going to take into account that Ole Miss probably won't play that many players on offense?
That's what I was going to say. I probably would not lay a lot of points next week. In fact, this would be a game I wouldn't touch from a gambling standpoint. Because you get up a little bit, you got to get guys off because you play 5 days later.
Just pull them.
Yeah.
And State gets a FCS team Saturday.
Yeah, because I mean, if you told Lane right now, hey, you can beat Vanderbilt 31-14, and nobody gets hurt, he goes done.
Yeah, done. Yeah, because I'm telling y'all right now. I mean, people were getting mad at me 2 weeks ago. They were like, "Oh, we'll beat Mississippi State." Man, that Egg Bowl is going to be a war.
For sure.
That's going to be it's probably going to be one of the more intense Egg Bowls. I don't know if call the 2019 one intense, but the year it was Dak's senior year, and the winner was probably going to the Sugar Bowl. It's gonna be intense because they're good and they're confident now, and they're gonna try to play spoiler. I mean, I'm not confident about the Egg Bowl. I will say this: I think it locked the Citrus Bowl tonight. I think worst case scenario.
9-3. Yeah, I don't. I'd have to look at kind of how all that shakes out.
It feels Citrus or Outback as the floor now.
Yeah, I would think that's true.
Yeah, I count that definitely the floor. I mean, if they go to Outback Bowl, that's fine. But I think 9-3. Who's the Citrus Bowl going to win? Ole Miss or Kentucky?
Oh, Ole Miss.
I mean, yeah, Ole Miss
for sure.
I will say this: I was at Drawdown, had a live band, and I'm just at this thing, and there's this live band, and I'm glued into the TV, at no point in that second half did I think Ole Miss was winning the game. DJ Durkin, I don't know if they've done the finalist list for what's the assistant coach of the year award?
Broyles. Yep.
If he's not on that list, the defense won the game. And look, I'm all in on Lane Kiffin, but at some point, man, you got to help your defense out and just take points. You just have to. And they didn't, and they weren't getting points. And that defense, they just kept ringing the bell. I thought as soon as Springer got ejected, I thought the game was over. I was like, yep, here it goes.
That did feel like a huge moment. Yeah.
When he's out the game, the defense is just different. They have to do stuff different from a personnel standpoint. But, I'll give him credit. That was probably – and I didn't watch game day. I was golfing this morning. But that's probably about as perfect as it could have gone for Ole Miss tonight. I listened into a little bit of a show where someone was freaking out. I think Neal was telling them stop worrying about Kiffin leaving. I don't even care about that. But from a national perspective, this is probably about as good as it could have gone for Ole Miss today. They won a dramatic game when it mattered against number 11, number 10.
Yeah, A&M was 11. Ole Miss was 12 going into the
and
day.
They won it with defense.
Yep.
It wasn't, it wasn't like they lit them up.
No, absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah,
you show that you can win. You show that you can win in different ways. That's important. Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of a thing that the coaching staff's been trying to sell to recruits. Is that they can just win when it matters. They don't need to score 60 a game to win a game or whatever, just a ridiculous amount. But all right, I'm gonna hang up. Appreciate y'all taking my call.
All right. See you, Ryman. Thanks.
All right.
Hey, who do we have? Hey, who's this?
Hello?
Yeah, who's this?
Hey, this is Jake.
I'm sorry?
Jake.
Hey, Jake.
I'm in Atlanta.
What's up?
Am I on the show?
You are.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I'm just tuning in late, so I've missed it quite a bit, and I've been imbibed quite a bit as well. But I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on the defense because I thought Lane made some questionable decisions on the fourth down attempts, and I thought the defense really bailed him out tonight. I was really impressed.
It was the best defensive game that for given the stakes, I don't know the last time I've covered one that was more complete from a defensive standpoint, considering opponent and time of year and everything else. I have to really think about it. Probably the 15 Egg Bowl because of the way they jumped out to the huge lead. I know State came back late, but when Bridges got that pick, it was like 31-3 or something like that, and they had kind of separated. So, I think it's probably the best defensive game since then because that was a DAC team that was really damn good from Starkville that night.
Yeah, it really felt like it kept them in the game. I really think State was also impressive today, though, so I think the Egg Bowl is going to be a pretty tight game.
Yeah, for sure. State had a big win. Ole Miss had a big win, and State's not going to lose to who they play, Tennessee Tech or somebody.
Tennessee State.
Tennessee State, yeah, they're not going to lose to Tennessee State, and Ole Miss is not losing to Vanderbilt, and so it's going to be a big day, that big night in Starkville for sure. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
Yep, thanks, fellas.
Thanks to Cameron Russell. Thanks again to Windy City Reb. Tony says Sark has a hot wife and an eye for talent. Surprised he's losing so badly at Texas. He's kind of lost his team. They've kind of, it's a mess. It doesn't always work.
Not working there.
It hadn't worked there since Vince Young.
Maybe that was Vince Young.
So it's conceivable that it was Vince Young.
They played for a title with Colt McCoy.
That's true.
Oxford Police Department tweeting people are shooting fireworks on Old Taylor's. Those are illegal in the city limits. So.
Oh, let them have some fun.
Let them have the night.
I'm kidding. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, it's Joe in Memphis.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, just wanted to say the biggest thing for me in this game, and once Springer came out, starting to get a little nervous about defense. How about Keidron Smith actually having a night, making some plays in the secondary? We had to have somebody step up, and Keidron actually showed up. And, man, I've been worried for a while, but we had somebody besides Springer actually make some plays in the secondary.
I thought the secondary played pretty well all day, frankly. I mean, even a guy like Dean Leonard had a few pretty good moments. Somebody who hasn't played
Dean had his
lately.
best game in an Ole Miss uniform tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of got stuff from everywhere. I mean, look at C. Sistrunk and Findley. Saw Keidron Smith a little more tonight. I mean, some of those guys, especially once Springer went out. I mean, it was a group effort, and they weren't as good as the first half, but they held that damn thing together and got 2 or 3 stops when they had to there in the fourth quarter. Even hold them to the field goal was maybe the one series that nobody's really talking about that might have been the most critical of the day.
Yeah, without a doubt. Great win. It was awesome. Thanks for everything you guys do, and hotty toddy.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call.
Yep.
OPD, a bunch of snitches. Someone said OPD's a bunch of snitches.
Ooh, not a good loss for the Grizzlies tonight. Losing to the Pelicans.
Ooh, that's not a good loss. That's the Pelicans on the back end of no, it was the Kings last night. We saw the end of the Kings and Grizzlies. Not Kings and Thunder, I meant.
Oregon 24-14 over Washington State. The Ducks trying to stay in this thing.
I was looking for more late night football, but there isn't. This is the late night.
This
football.
is it?
Yeah. Because I saw Pacific and Hawaii, and I was thinking, oh, there you go, but it's basketball.
All right, so looking at these standings, I only see, unless they jump somebody, I only see one spot to move up for Ole Miss. Like, I think they're 11th. I just don't know where else they move.
Everybody in the top 10 won?
Georgia, Cincinnati,
Okay.
Alabama,
Yep.
Oklahoma. Oh, no, they lost.
Oklahoma lost.
Never mind.
And they're going to fall.
They'll fall below Ole Miss?
Yeah.
Okay. Oregon, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan State, Michigan, Oklahoma State.
Did Michigan won, right? Yeah.
So 2 spots.
Did Oklahoma State won?
Yeah, they killed TCU.
So they'll move up to 10. Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
This is Justin from Olive Branch.
Hey, Justin.
Well, so I understand why everybody's griping about the offense as much. I mean, you knew this was one of the top defenses in the country. And quite frankly, all the eye candy they put in motions and then running back away from motion when the defense was rotating, I thought they were making stuff happen. 250 yards rushing on that defensive front. It's just, I guess people got a bad taste in their mouth because we didn't finish some drives. We stopped on the 1 yard line and having a couple turnovers where we kind of got sloppy with the ball, But, man, I thought that was a great performance by the defense as well. A lot of the guys in the secondary stepped up. Miles Battle went back to the corner. It looked like a few snaps. And I could not be happier overall performance.
Hey, Justin, do me a favor in a minute. Are you on Twitter? Hey, Justin?
Yeah.
Are you on Twitter? Or better yet, send me an email, Justin, with your name and a mailing address, and I'll get you a $50 gift card to the College Corner.
That sounds awesome, man.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, send me an email and make sure you tell me all your info.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Nice of you.
You're welcome. Thanks, buddy.
Uh-huh.
So you were saying to move up to 10.
I think it's 10, yeah. That's all I can get them to. And that's as long as...
Is there anybody who could jump because of a win? Would Baylor jump?
But you beat I mean, I guess anything's possible, but that would surprise me. I think.
Of course, Ole Miss would jump in the same way Baylor would because they beat a
top 10
a team that was right ahead of them in the rankings.
I mean, yeah, because Baylor was at 18. They're not jumping Ole Miss.
No. Ole Miss will go to 10.
Wake was at 13. They got a good win.
Yeah, but not as good as the win Ole Miss got.
And also, Baylor started 80 points behind. Wake Forest started 80 points behind Ole Miss.
No, Ole Miss will get
10. As long as Oklahoma doesn't fall less than that.
Yeah, they'll fall more than that.
Okay.
They looked like crap.
They have to fall from 4th to 10th.
They look terrible today.
And they've looked terrible all year. They just hadn't lost.
Yeah. Does Cincinnati move up in the top 4? Cameron wants to know. I haven't paid a lot of attention to it, but I'm guessing at some point they have to. Almost attrition moves them up.
Right now, but I still think at the end of the year in the last poll, something else happens. College football playoff rankings dictate bowl games, not AP. Somebody asked that. And now in that, Ole Miss is currently 15, which is actually the more important poll right now. And that's one where Baylor and Wake are actually ahead of Ole Miss. I would assume Ole Miss will jump BYU, Oklahoma. That's about it. And then there's a lot of attrition behind them. So Ole Miss is probably 12 or 13 on Tuesday night.
In the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way for Ole Miss to get to 4.
Oh, God, no. But, but 12 is relevant for the,
right.
For the Access Bowls.
I will tell you this, if you had a 12-team playoff, right now the conversation we would be having would be all playoff. Everything would be about what do you have to do to get in the playoff.
Oh, yeah, and then win out.
Win out and you'd be in.
Yeah.
You'd be the 9 seed.
Yeah, sure.
You'd have a shot. No, you know the conversation we'd be having is could you get to a place where you hosted a playoff game?
Yeah. We would literally be talking about, hey, if you get to 10, you get to 11, you're playing Cincinnati or Michigan or doing whatever. Yeah.
Which is
actually in the college football playoff. No, Cincinnati will not be in the top 4 because Oklahoma's at 8. The college football playoff little thing hates Oklahoma
because they don't have much game control.
Correct. Yes.
A&M bring a lot of people today. Were there a lot of them there?
I don't know. I think so.
You weren't in line to get in the Grove at 4 in the morning?
Did not see that, no. Did not need the College Game Day 6 a.m. media tour.
No.
Fine.
Well, and they wanted you to wear a mask and be socially distanced, which would be very, very difficult in the Grove.
That's correct, yes.
I mean, I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Hey, who do we have? Hey, who's this?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, who's this?
This is Paula.
Hey, Paula.
What's up?
What's up with you?
Not much.
What's on your mind?
Well, I'm questioning why Neal's microphone is so much greater than Chase's.
Because I don't have that weird shock absorber that I don't think it's
literally
overly necessary.
It's literally the same microphone.
Yeah, we have the exact same actual mic. He just has that really neat package.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, he has the
Neal's
Manscaped
looks
of mic
a lot
holders.
more grandiose.
It does. He looks very professional.
Yeah.
Also, what kind of wine are you drinking?
It's a Charles Krug Cabernet. My brother brought it over last night, and so it's still here. It was good. It was fine.
Nice.
It was nice. What have you been drinking today?
I'm having a Mick Ultra right now.
Oh, okay.
You sound like the most sober caller we've had an hour. I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah.
Do what?
You sound like the most sober caller
You're
we've
the
had
most
in an
sober
hour.
person we've talked to in a while.
Oh, well, you know.
Well, how was the day?
It's been a long day. Good. We went to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very, very good nail biter for a little bit, and then it was good.
Did y'all do the whole Grove thing? Did you go to? Were you there for game day? Did you make a day of it, or?
We did not. We just watched on the TV at the condo.
Gotcha. How many Mick Ultras have you had? Or is that the wind down? Oh, that's what you've been drinking all day?
All day.
You big on Mick Ultras, Chase?
No, not my thing. You know how I feel about beer, so no, I'm good.
Chase isn't a beer guy at all.
At all.
Yeah.
No. No.
All right, Paula, thanks for the call.
Absolutely.
God. 10:28 left in the Washington State-Oregon game.
Still up 10, though.
I don't know what the score is. Hey, who's this?
It's Dustin from Boonville.
Dustin. Hey, Dustin.
Hey, just wanted to give a shout out for Muddy Water Camo. I wore my jacket tonight, and it kept me warm pretty much throughout the whole game. So.
Oh yeah, the heated jacket, absolutely.
Yeah,
those are fantastic, man.
I've got the vest and the jacket. When they did the buy one get one, me and my buddy went in. I got my dad one, and then he got a jacket as well. So.
Yeah, those things work, man. When you charge up the battery and you turn that thing on, it's a game.
Absolutely.
That's a game changer.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm planning on probably getting my wife one too. We're headed back to Boonville right now. We're going through Baldwin, so. But what y'all think? I mean, I've been listening pretty much since we left Oxford and everything, but it's kind of weird to have a defense that actually can do something. Honestly.
They've done a really good job getting their scheme. I think Chase was right when he talked about how the difference this year is they've actually had time to work on it. They have more players. They struck gold in the transfer market with Chance Campbell and with Springer and the Mark Robinson story, which Chase wrote a lot about. Was it last week?
2 weeks ago. 2 Thursdays ago.
I can't.
Two
There's
Thursdays
no
ago.
way I can keep up with days. Chase wrote a really good story about Mark and how he became a linebacker and his journey to Ole Miss and all of that stuff. And, I mean, it sounds elementary, but they went from having very average linebacker play a year ago to very good linebacker play now with Campbell and Robinson. And I think you can see DJ Durkin likes this defense. You just watch his body language on the sideline, and you can tell he's excited. He thinks he can tell his teams, his guys are getting better. They've been able to stay pretty healthy on that side of the ball. And, in 12 nights, they're going to have a hell of an assignment. But I think they have the ability to get to Rodgers and to force Rodgers to get rid of the ball quickly. So that's going to be it's interesting. You would have thought before the season, if I told you, hey, the Egg Bowl is going to be this really competitive game, you would have thought, well, it's going to be a shootout. And now I don't think it's necessarily going to be that. I think it's going to be which defense can make plays.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, which I know everybody's been talking about is Kiffin leaving, but my concern is, you think Chance is probably going to go to the NFL this year, and does Springer have another year or no? I'm not sure about that.
Springer's done. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I think that's right. I've asked Chance. We talk to him every Monday, courtesy of the Rogue. And I asked him the other day, and I believe him. I mean, we don't do a whole lot of show prep for that. He's fantastic at that show, but I told him, hey, I'm going to ask you about the NFL and all that stuff, and he's like, okay. And I mean, he's a guy that really loves playing football. That's what he loves to do, and he doesn't take it for granted. He doesn't treat the A&M game any bigger. Like, he would be offended, I think, in the amount that I know him. I think he would be offended at the concept of taking the Vanderbilt game lightly. That's just not who he is. And so I don't think that's a decision that he's made yet. I don't think he's given it a lot of thought yet. I think when the season's over, he will do the methodical thing. I think that's kind of who he is, and I think he'll get some feedback from the NFL, and he'll receive that feedback and then make a decision as to what he wants to do. If his brother walks on, I'm sure that would be something that would make him at least consider, for sentimental reasons, staying another year. But I'm sure that if he got a report back from the NFL that, hey, you're a second-round pick or a third-round pick, he'd have to strongly consider that, because he's probably not moving up any higher than that, because he's not going to, in a year, he's not going to become a 6 foot, 235-pound guy. I mean, he is who he is. So, I don't know. I don't think he's made that decision. In other words, that's a really long way of saying I don't think he's even thought about it that much.
Yeah. Well, I saw talking about. I know obviously Matt's going to go, but you know, I saw Oklahoma put Spencer in, or I mean, I think maybe in the fourth quarter when they were down quite a good bit. Is that kind of still on the radar, possibly? I mean, I know.
Yeah, he went in because
and everything.
Caleb Thompson got hurt.
Gotcha. Williams. I didn't know that.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, he got his hand stepped on. He really couldn't throw the ball in the third quarter,
Gotcha.
so they went to Rattler.
I had 4 screens. I've got Dish Network, so I had 4 screens going this morning, and all of a sudden I see Spencer in there, and I was like, well, what happened? You know. So
yeah,
but gotcha. Well, I'll hang up and listen. I was just going to holler at y'all and give a shout out to Muddy Water Camo because it definitely helped my kids too. My 5-year-old and my 3-year-old, and their hands would get cold, and I just stick them right there in the right inside the jacket, and they kind of like that for sure.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate the shout out. Thanks.
Be safe.
Yes, sir. All right.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey, this is One Trick Pony.
What's up?
You want us to call you One or One Trick Pony?
OTP.
OTP, okay.
Yeah, I was just calling to let y'all know that called in order to Old Coop on Jackson Avenue, and they didn't confirm my order until recently, and I'd already ordered a pizza, so there's a free order under the name James at Old Coop if anybody wants to go pick it up. Public service announcement.
If that's kind of like Coupe de Ville back today, that's what's kind of how you did it. You'd order it at like 8:30 and get there at like 2:45 in the morning. I mean, it was kind of Russian roulette on whether it would be delivered or not.
Yeah, you're welcome to go pick it up, Chase.
All right, I'll do it.
Go grab.
What's the order? What's the order?
Yeah, what is the order?
Texas toast and mozzarella sticks.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I appreciate that. I'm sure somebody will grab it.
Yeah, y'all have a great night.
Yeah,
God bless.
You too.
You too.
God bless.
There's absolutely no doubt.
100%.
1 gazillion%.
Had a lot of sandwiches.
Yeah. Carb loading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it's an Old Coop.
Yeah.
Under the name James for anybody who would like to.
Texas toast and some cheese mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Flying high.
Amen.
God bless. So what's this week going to be like?
Kind of quiet. I mean,
You
I
think
feel like
we're
it's
gonna-
I feel like it's going to be
the
coming
calm
off
before the storm?
coming off the lull a little bit. I mean, hopefully we're not having a Tuesday therapy session about Vanderbilt.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Not playing that game.
No.
I mean, they suck.
Yeah, they're horrible.
They're building a new stadium though, or
Yeah,
like
well, that's
renovating.
good. That's good. They should.
You get your own section.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Get all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet Lane does a rat poison tweet. This is that week you just try to.
You're just getting through it.
You just get through it. Lane would probably this is probably one of the weeks that Lane would have preferred an 11 a.m. game.
Yeah, just go ahead and get out of there.
Not 6:30.
Yeah. Washington State has closed it up to 7. Anybody want some late television? Oregon 24, Washington State 17.
It's about 7.5 minutes left or so.
8:31 on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means or doesn't mean.
Saints play tomorrow.
Titans.
Oh, that's right. That's the game in Nashville.
Yep.
I saw where Romero came to Oxford.
Did
he? Yeah, there's pictures of him in the Grove.
Yeah.
You caught up on the latest with impeachment?
I
Did you see the finale?
I have I have that to go. Yeah. It's fine.
I don't know what I expected it to be. It didn't.
The whole thing has been.
I was not thrilled with the way they ended it.
It's just been. I mean, we'll say about that, but overall, I've just been okay with it.
Yeah, it was fine. At the end of the day, you can only do so much with the story.
I did see where the punter from San Diego State set the record for most 50-yard punts in a season already.
That dude can boom.
Yeah, he's got like several 80-yard punts this year.
Where the ball goes 80 yards in the air.
Yeah, kicks the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes this different sound.
Yeah. The South Dakota State thing was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Be hard to sleep knowing you lost like that.
Yeah.
I would assume Altmaier takes the snaps when Corral gets out.
Yeah, I think so.
Be my guess.
Yeah.
At this point. Tougher opponent, Vandy or Tennessee State? Vandy.
Yeah.
Rowe's decision, by the way, was whether to come to Oxford or whether to. He was given a hall pass for the weekend to go to Nashville for the game.
He had to make a call.
So he chose here. All right. Appreciate everybody calling in, making us a part of your night. Ole Miss wins 29-19. We'll be back on Monday morning with the Oxford Exxon podcast. Another week. We'll get you ready for Ole Miss Vanderbilt. Ole Miss basketball's late in the week at it's in Charleston
against Marquette.
Yeah, they play Marquette on
and then Elon
Thursday.
or West Virginia.
It's Marquette on Thursday, correct?
I think that's correct.
Thursday, yeah, it's Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Yeah, is the weekend. So thanks for being with us. Hope you guys have a safe and nice rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday morning at around 8 when we get started with the Oxford Exxon podcast. And until then, don't forget about walk-ons, by the way. I didn't even mention this at the beginning. Coming to Oxford around December the 6th. It's in Ridgeland, 720 Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland, so go see them. And please make sure that when you see the people at walk-ons, tell them that you appreciate them sponsoring this show, because we certainly appreciate it. And hopefully you guys do too, and tell them, because that's how that sort of works. So for Chase, I'm Neal.